Chapter 43:53. Lin Xian's expression turned incomparably cold as he stretched out his palm. The golden palm formed a hand seal, just like the human king first class. A terrifying sound rang out in the sky. Then, the palm slammed forward. Boom! The collision of the two gave off a thunderous sound that reverberated throughout the sky. The sound caused the surrounding experts to feel their blood boil. Some of the young geniuses felt their scalps go numb. This kind of attack was really too strong. It was beyond their expectations. However, those sage rulers opened their eyes wide and stared ahead. Between heaven and earth, time seemed to have come to a standstill. Everyone saw a strange hand seal pressing on the starry sky map. The two of them stopped in the sky. Is this the person you want to challenge? Your strength is only as... You are still far from being able to kill me. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he stared ahead. A cold smile appeared on his face. On the other side, Xing Yao released a terrifying light. Is that so? Then let's wait and see. Soon, I will make you despair. The power between the two of them erupted once more. Then the two figures quickly retreated. Between them, countless laws spread out in all directions. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. They were evenly matched. It was really hard to believe. However, the people in the mortal world had extremely cold expressions on their faces. One had to know that Xing Yao was not an ordinary genius. He could not even be considered part of the younger generation. After all, he was a genius from the previous generation and had entered the buried Emperor's star. As someone who had returned from the buried Earth star, his strength was extremely terrifying. How could the people from the second astral realm block his attack? However, someone had actually blocked Xing Yao's attack. The people from the deity Dao Union heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, they had been worried for Lin Xian. However, from the looks of it, Lin Xian's strength far exceeded their expectations. In the sky, Xing Yao stood there with a gloomy expression. His arm was a little numb. His arm felt numb as he looked ahead. A piercingly cold light burst out from it. Is this the legendary divine body? It is indeed strong. It can actually allow the other party to have such strength. One had to know that his cultivation was much higher than Xing Yao's. However, Xing Yao was still able to block his attack. This should be the power of the divine body. But so what? His strength was not limited to this. If the other party only had this much strength, then he could only say that the game was over. Humph! He snorted coldly. Then he formed a seal with his palm, and the surrounding laws spread out in all directions. Heaven and earth trembled as countless voids shattered. Starlight directly sprinkled down from the outer realm. It was as if the entire sky was about to be torn apart. An extremely terrifying power of the stars was rapidly converging towards him. What kind of method was this? It was so scary. The expressions of the surrounding geniuses changed. Even the Saint Kings narrowed their eyes. Did this divine ability come from the universe? How terrifying! As expected of someone who came back from the buried Emperor's star. This method was really too powerful. Lin Xian also frowned. He had to admit that the other party was indeed much stronger than the people he had met before. After all, he was someone who had experienced the buried Emperor's star and returned alive. However, the other party was underestimating him too much. Although he hadn't been to the buried Emperor's star and wasn't a late-stage expert. So what? His battle strength wasn't inferior to anyone. Brat, you relied on your powerful physique to withstand my attack. This really surprised me. However, I can tell you that this is the end, because at this moment, no one below the Saint King realm is my match. You are no exception. Boom. Following his voice, a vast and terrifying sound rang out between heaven and earth. The stars in the sky formed a sword of stars, exuding an unparalleled aura. Following his movements, The star sword continued to expand and blossom with a terrifying light. There were ancient Tao runes on it that were spreading. As his arm fell, the sword of stars in the sky also slowly descended. An extremely powerful force descended from the sky. Countless people felt this scene, and their expressions turned grave. Indeed, it was too terrifying for anyone below the Saint King realm to resist this move. In the mortal world, a cold smile appeared on his face. It seemed that this battle was over. The other party was definitely going to die. They all breathed a sigh of relief. This was because Lin Xian was on their must-kill list, as well as the saint rulers that they wanted to capture in one fell swoop. They couldn't allow someone who had been abandoned by the heavens to live. What a terrifying sword intent. Lin Xian's expression was also grave. He naturally felt the powerful force brought by the star sword. This was the power of the outer realm. It was incomparably vast. He took a deep breath and his eyes blossomed with a biting cold light. Then, his physique became even more terrifying. A trace of killing intent blossomed in his eyes. He circulated the Tiger Clan's breathing technique. As he breathed in and out, it spread out in all directions like thunder. The eyelids of the surrounding people twitched wildly. They could feel a violent force surging towards them from all directions. It was obvious that Lin Xian had also used some powerful techniques. Boom! The laws of heaven and earth danced, and thunder rumbled. The terrifying void was constantly being torn apart. Lin Xian, on the other hand, swung his fist and pushed forward. Tiger Demon Fist. A terrifying and ferocious aura spread out in all directions. Lin Xian's fist, which was originally golden, was now filled with black veins. They kept spreading out. The power coming from the veins caused the expressions of countless people to change. What kind of fist technique is this? It's too terrifying. Is this brat really just a middle stage Holy Venerate? Why do I feel that even a late stage Holy Venerate can't do this? As expected of the Middle Emperor from back then, an exceptional genius. Some people were incomparably shocked. Those young geniuses were even more flabbergasted. On the other side, when Xing Yao saw this scene, his expression also became incomparably grave. Can the other party also execute such a powerful attack? Although the other party hasn't made a move yet, the aura from the other party still shocked him. Damn it, it looks like I have to use some more techniques. Thinking of this, he formed hand seals again. The void above his head kept breaking apart. Once again, endless starlight condensed and turned into a starry sky sword. The power carried by the star sword swept out in all directions. One star sword wasn't enough to kill the other party. Then he'll use another one. He doesn't believe that the other party can still resist two swords at the same time. The pupils of the surrounding experts shrank. The sage rulers were also stunned. No way. Xing Yao can actually summon a star sword. What kind of cultivation did he receive on the buried Emperor Star? How did he become so powerful? Chapter 43-54. Kid, it's all over now. Under countless shocked gazes, Xing Yao waved the starry sky sword in his hand. The two starry sky swords pressed down from the sky and slashed forward. Roar. Lin Xian's fist let out a tiger's roar. Then those black fists with destructive power also pushed out. When the two collided, a shocking power and law swept through the 9 heavens. Everyone opened their eyes wide and looked carefully. They wanted to see if the expert who came back from the buried Emperor Star was stronger, or if the top genius of their holy city was stronger. In the sky, countless people watched nervously. The two peerless divine abilities collided in an instant. Then, a desolate-like power burst out and quickly swept in all directions. The surrounding palaces and heaven and earth were all shattered in an instant. Nothing could stop the shocking power. The mortal world's killing saints had grave expressions. To be honest, they recognized Xing Yao's power very much. When Lin Xian dared to make a move, they didn't care about him at all. But now, it seemed that he did have the qualifications to be arrogant. The sage kings of the holy city were also nervous to the extreme. This battle concerned their fates. They didn't expect that one day their fate would be in the hands of a young man. Under everyone's anxious gazes, the two rays of light kept retreating and then collided again. Heavens! Lin Xian's fist technique actually blocked the two starry sky swords. Countless people cried out in surprise when they saw this scene. In the sky, Xing Yao's face became incomparably cold. His expression was even somewhat sinister. This scene was completely out of his expectations. In his opinion, he could easily kill his opponent with the two starry sky swords, but he didn't expect that. He didn't have the upper hand. That was because the terrifying fist technique used by his opponent was also incomparably terrifying and evenly matched with him. But he couldn't accept it. He was already a peak Saint Venerate. He was much stronger than his opponent. Furthermore, he had returned from the buried Emperor's star. His strength was terrifying. Logically speaking, after he returned, he could sweep through everything. But now, he was blocked by someone. Could it be that this damned fellow had used some secret formula? Or could it be that he had secretly taken some kind of pill in advance? Just as his expression turned sinister, he suddenly sensed a change in the power ahead. It turned out that Lin Xian's fist had transformed into a ferocious tiger. On his left hand, there was an unparalleled sword, aura flickering. That terrifying sword chi also let out a dragon's roar that resounded through the 9 heavens. He actually slashed over once again. Boom. It was as if a divine dragon had come back to life and landed heavily on the ground. When the starry sky swords collided, an apocalyptic shockwave swept out in all directions. Not good. Retreat. The surrounding people frantically retreated. This energy was enough to threaten them. The Holy King was equally shocked. The sound of something shattering resounded between heaven and earth. The two gigantic swords shattered amidst the dragon's roar. Countless sword lights and laws flew in all directions. Xing Yao snorted coldly and quickly dodged the attack with his starry sky map. At the same time, he looked in all directions, probably looking for another opportunity to attack. However, he did not find any trace of Lin Xian, which surprised him. What was going on? Could it be that Lin Xian had fallen in the impact of the laws just now? He was secretly delighted, but he did not quite believe it. Lin Xian's body was a divine body. He should not have fallen so easily. Sure enough, in the next moment, his pupils shrank. He felt that the void behind him was suddenly torn apart and a fist blasted towards his head. Not good. He felt his hair stand on end. Behind him, a starry sky map quickly appeared, like a cage that shrouded the area behind him. He quickly turned around and swung his sword again. Boom. The one who appeared behind him was naturally Lin Xian. He used the void escape and dodged the attacks that filled the sky. He appeared behind Xing Yao, and then threw out another tiger demon fist. The black fist once again blasted on the starry sky map, producing an earth-shattering sound. The starry sky map kept shaking, as if it was trying to dissolve the power. However, the power was really too strong. No matter how mysterious the starry sky map was, cracks still appeared, and then it shattered with a loud bang. This only happened in an instant, but it was enough for an expert. For example, Xing Yao had already obtained enough time. He turned around, and the stars in his eyes were extinguished. Kid, you actually dare to attack me? You really don't know what death is. His eyes burst out with biting, cold-killing intent, and then terrifying starlight shone out from his body. His power completely erupted, sweeping across all directions. At this moment, his body actually blossomed with a resplendent radiance, becoming incomparably mysterious. Was this the star body? He had actually cultivated it. In the distance, The seven-star Saint King of the seven-star tower also exclaimed when he saw this scene. Obviously, Xing Yao did not have such a body before he left. It seemed that he had obtained it from the buried Emperor's star. That's right, it was the star body. After displaying his super strong body, Xing Yao regained his confidence. Kid, what do you have to contend with me now? The star body was an extremely terrifying body. It might not be comparable to the legendary super strong body, the 9-young divine body. However, Xing Yao was a peak sacred venerate after all. His cultivation of the body far surpassed everything else. Therefore, he could use his cultivation to make up for the difference in the body. He was confident that no one could contend with him. Kid, everything can end now. Xing Yao waved his fist and palm, continuously striking out. It was as if 10,000 stars had appeared. Every strike caused a black hole to appear in the sky. The surrounding experts of the older generation also felt their scalps go numb. In such a tense situation, no one would dare to compete with Xing Yao in terms of body. Lin Xian was also surprised. Previously, he could tell that Xing Yao was borrowing the power of the stars. What he cultivated was the law of stars, a super strong divine ability. However, such a person's body should not be too strong. Now, he discovered that he was wrong. Xing Yao actually also possessed a super strong body. The power of his close combat was also incomparably strong. In the next moment, the 9-young divine body blossomed with light again. The flames on it burned fiercely, turning into 10,000 suns. Then, like a golden crow, it spread its wings and soared. The divine flames that filled the sky swept out in all directions, colliding with the vast starlight. Xing Yao's palm also struck out. Boom! Then it collided with Xing Yao's star palm again. After that, the two of them attacked again. In an instant, over 10,000 attacks rumbled, and the void was torn apart like a canvas. The two of them fought from the sky to the ground. The surrounding people were all stunned. The expressions of the people of the mortal world became somewhat unsightly. Xing Yao had already unleashed his star body, yet he was still unable to do anything to Xing Yao. If this continued, the situation would not be good. Chapter 43:55. Kid, you've completely angered me. How could a mere ant be able to contend against the light of my stars? Go to hell. Xing Yao's eyes exploded with killing intent as he formed a seal with his palms. Then, an extremely terrifying radiance appeared. Above his palm, a star appeared. Along with the mirage of a world, it violently smashed forward. Boom! Lin Xian waved his palm to resist. However, at this moment, he was sent flying. He felt his arm go numb. It was as if the strike was really a world of stars that had landed on his body. It made him spit out a mouthful of blood. What's going on? Is Lin Xian injured? Is he going to lose? When the surrounding people saw this scene, they all exclaimed, "That's impossible. That's the 9-young divine body. How terrifying is that?" However, some people sighed. Although the divine body was powerful, it was still 2 realms weaker than the other party. To be able to last until now was enough to show how powerful the 9-young divine body was. However, the other party also had a powerful starry sky body. With the starlight of the myriad worlds, he could sweep through everything. Ants were indeed unable to withstand a single blow. Everyone in the human world smiled. It seemed that this battle could end. After killing the other party, they would leave this place and prepare for the next assassination plan. Although they couldn't kill all these people this time, the effect was not bad. At least these sage kings were all poisoned. First, it was the curse, then it was the supreme sage corpse poison. These people's strength had been greatly reduced, and they probably wouldn't be able to recover in a short period of time. As long as they planned carefully, they would be able to send all these people to hell next time. But soon, Their smiles disappeared, because they saw Lin Xian, who was sent flying while vomiting blood, walk over again. The other party's face was calm and expressionless. This gave them a bad premonition. What's going on? Wasn't the other party already injured? Why was he still so calm? Could it be that the other party still had some trump card? Deliberately mystifying. When Xing Yao saw this scene, he snorted coldly. No matter what the other party used, he wasn't afraid. His strength had completely surpassed the other party. Not to mention Lin Xian. Even if these Sage City's geniuses attacked together, they would be able to contend against him. Because he came from the buried Emperor's star, it was enough to sweep through everything. But very quickly, he frowned because he felt a bone-chilling aura. A beam of sword, aura, appeared on Lin Xian's body and shrouded him. Then, the sword chi flew in all directions, forming a world of sword Dao. It floated on Lin Xian's body. And this danger came from the sword chi. What a terrifying sword chi. When the people from Yellow Springs saw this scene, their faces turned cold as well. Even the people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion sucked in a breath of cold air. They were the holy land of sword Dao, but at this moment, the opponent's sword seemed to be even stronger than theirs. Sacred King Divine, Ghost, looked at this scene with greed in his eyes. Wan Jianyi, on the other hand, had a look of fear on his face. However, they managed to cover it up very well. The people of the mortal world also frowned. Damn it, this brat still had a trump card. Furthermore, it was such a piercingly cold sword will. Their expressions became incomparably cold. It was no wonder that the other party was on their wanted list. Such a person was only at the middle stage of the Saint Venerable realm, but he was already so terrifying. If he was allowed to grow, perhaps in the future, even sacred kings would not be able to suppress him. Between heaven and earth, everyone felt fear because of this piercingly cold sword will. Lin Xian was indeed very calm. He felt that his body was full of power. The previous attack had indeed injured him and shocked him. But so what? The other party had a trump card, but his trump card was stronger. He slowly raised his palm. An endless sword chi condensed in his hand. A sword light shone through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, and then slashed forward. Not good. Xing Yao's pupils shrank. He felt a fatal danger, so he did not resist. His body turned into a ray of starlight and instantly disappeared into the sky. A crack appeared where he was originally standing. It spread into the distance. Lin Xian's gaze was very light, and his cold voice sounded. "It's useless, you can't escape. I'll let you see my sword world." As he spoke, the sword chi on his body burst out, completely enveloping the entire world. At this moment, it turned into a world of sword chi. Boundless sword chi swept in all directions. Wherever the void was, it kept shattering, and there was no way to dodge. As expected, Xing Yao found that the starry sky movement technique that he was so proud of seemed to have lost its effect at this moment. No matter where he hid, the sword chi could tear the void apart, and he could only passively defend. He shouted angrily, took a deep breath, and the starry sky map appeared again. And this time, it had an even more piercingly cold aura. The Xiantian starry sky map. The terrifying starry sky map spread in all directions, forming a world of stars. It looked like it had turned into a universe, and it collided with the sword chi that filled the sky. Kill. With a roar, Xing Yao went all out and charged over aggressively. The two collided again, as if 2 worlds were fighting. The terrifying power caused the people outside to be unable to breathe. However, what was surprising was that in just an instant, cracks appeared on the Xiantian starry sky map, and it spread to the surroundings. Crack. A crisp sound rang out, and the starry sky suddenly shattered into pieces, scattering all over the ground. The people around were stunned. Did the starry sky break through? That terrifying sword chi passed through the stars in the sky and slashed toward Xing Yao fiercely. Not good. the people in the human world narrowed their eyes. If they were hit by such a terrifying sword chi, not many people below the Saint King realm could resist. Xing Yao was probably in danger, unless he could use a special saint weapon. But previously, in order to prevent Lin Xian from using a Saint King weapon, they had already set the rules. They were not allowed to use weapons. They did not expect that they would shoot themselves in the foot now. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out, and then the world shattered. Blood dripped from the 9 heavens, piercing through the void. Everyone was shocked. He was injured. The faces of the people in the human world became extremely ugly. The Saint King's eyes pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Sure enough, they found that the one who was injured was Xing Yao. Even though Xing Yao used his starry sky body with all his strength, he still could not block it. Many sword marks appeared on his body, and his whole body flew into the distance like a kite with a broken string. Boom, boom. The terrifying war lasted for a long time before it slowly dissipated. When the sword chi disappeared, the people saw Lin Xian standing there with his hands behind his back. Sword Dao world surrounded him, and he looked like a supreme sword god. On the opposite side, Xing Yao was bleeding, and his body was covered in wounds. At this moment, he was unusually embarrassed, and he no longer had the confidence from before. Chapter 43:56. Did he win? The people from the divine palace heaved a sigh of relief. The people from the holy city also clenched their fists. It seems that this time the people from the human world can retreat. However, Xing Yao suddenly opened his eyes. His expression became incomparably malevolent. "Brat, I didn't expect you to have such sword intent. Although you injured me, you didn't kill me. I will let you know how powerful I am. Do you think that I spent all these years in the buried Emperor Star in vain? I will let you see my harvest in the buried Emperor Star. One move. I only need one move to deal with you." What? He still wants to fight? When the surrounding people heard this, they all sucked in a mouthful of cold air. They could already see that Xing Yao's astral body had been completely broken. He was definitely seriously injured and would not be able to recover in a short period of time. However, Xing Yao did not stop. He even said that he would kill Lin Xian in one move. The leader of the human world coldly snorted. Is he finally going to use that move? I didn't expect it to come to this. However, since Xing Yao was able to use that move, this brat can die in peace. Lin Xian frowned. Is he still going to attack? In the next moment, his pupils shrank. That was because he saw that Xing Yao had gathered all the power in his body and fused it between his eyebrows. Moreover, a crack appeared between his eyebrows. A ray of starlight flickered from within. That starlight was extremely resplendent and covered all the light. It seemed to have become the only thing in the world. Northern starlight / Along with the appearance of the starlight, an ice-cold voice rang out. Then, the northern starlight between his eyebrows flew out and turned into a peerless saber light that slashed forward. When this ray of starlight appeared, Xing Yao swayed and almost fell to the ground. It seemed that he had used up all his strength to use this move. The northern starlight flew out and slashed through the void, shattering the earth. It seemed to shake the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This power was really too terrifying. The expressions of the surrounding experts changed. A secret technique? It was too powerful. If they did not use a Holy King weapon, no one below the Holy King realm would be able to resist it. Their eyes were filled with despair because they felt that Lin Xian would not be able to resist it and would definitely die. Next, the human world would leave calmly. They only needed to reorganize a little, and these people would be able to come back again. At that time, would the poison in their bodies be cured? Haha, it's all over. You can go to hell for me. Xing Yao's face was pale, but he still had a sinister smile on his face. On the other side, Lin Xian's expression was also incomparably solemn when he felt this powerful aura. Final trump card? He was indeed powerful. It seemed that he had to use his trump card as well. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, and the sword Dao world around him continued to evolve. Streaks of dragon-shaped sword chi flew out and gathered in his palm, forming the shadow of a dragon. 10 extremities dragon soul sword. The 10 extinction swords merged with the dragon soul and slashed forward. This kid's sword seemed to have become more powerful than before. When the surrounding people felt this scene, they all exclaimed in shock. The pupils of the people in the human world also shrank. That was impossible. However, they had no time to think. The two attacks collided once again, and holy light filled the sky. This was simply an apocalyptic scene. The eyes of those saint kings flickered. They were afraid that this would end after this attack. They wondered who would win in the end. Crack! Xing Yao originally had a sinister smile on his face. He felt that his opponent was dead for sure with his powerful attack. However, the scene in front of him made his face full of shock. The smile on his face suddenly froze. This was because he discovered that cracks had appeared on the northern star slash in front of him. Then, with a cracking sound, it directly split open. Impossible! His most powerful superpower was actually shattered? No. At this moment, his pride and confidence were all gone. It was as if glass had shattered on the ground. His eyes were filled with horror. He used the last bit of his remaining strength and quickly retreated. Facing Lin Xian, he was finally terrified. However, he could not escape at all. Between heaven and earth, the sharp sword Qi shrouded him, and the cracks on it became even more terrifying. He was torn apart. Boom. Roar. Sir, save me. In the sky full of sword Qi, a crazy roar was heard. The surrounding people were stunned. Had he lost? On the opposite side, the pupils of the people of the mortal world shrank when they saw this scene. They saw the northern star slash shatter. Not only that, even Xing Yao was torn apart. It seemed that his soul was also threatened. Humph! The Saint King leader snorted coldly with a sharp light in his eyes. He reached out a large hand and grabbed forward. It seemed that he wanted to attack. After all, they had painstakingly nurtured Xing Yao and spent a lot of resources. It was not easy for him to reach this stage. If he died, they would not be able to bear it. Oh, no! Have those Saint Slayers attacked? Seeing this scene, countless people exclaimed. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, he could not block the attack of a Saint King. At this moment, Xia Jiu let out a sound of heaven and earth and instantly broke apart the large palm. Lin Xian let out a piercingly cold radiance as he let out a roar. The dragon's soul erupted, and a terrifying destructive sword, intent, slashed down. No, Xing Yao let out a miserable cry. He wanted to escape, but in the end, his soul was destroyed. His entire body and soul were destroyed. Damn it, how dare you! The Saint Kings of the mortal world roared crazily. Did the other party really kill Xing Yao? Damn it, their hearts were bleeding. In an instant, many people exuded an extremely terrifying killing intent that pierced through the 9 heavens. In an instant, 6 Saint Kings attacked Lin Xian together. Do you have a death wish? I knew that you would not be satisfied. Immortal scholars snorted coldly, and the indestructible frost fan flew out and shot out a monstrous frost that swept over. On the other side, the people from the sacred grounds also attacked and intercepted. They all appeared in front of Lin Xian and blocked the terrifying divine ability. Little guy, go back first. Lin Xian nodded and returned to Xia Jiu's side. At the same time, a cold smile appeared on his face. In the mortal world, you are considered the top existences. As a Saint King, do you not keep your word? I have already won this battle. Hurry up and hand over the antidote to the supreme Saint Corpse poison. Humph, kid, how dare you kill the person we have painstakingly nurtured? You are dead meat. No one in the 9 heavens and 10 earths can save you. Let me tell you, there is no antidote to the supreme St. Corpse poison. Wait for your death. At this point, they all laughed sinisterly. Attack! The 2 St. King leaders roared and wanted to attack. Immortal scholars snorted coldly. As expected, they were despicable and shameless people. In that case, he could not let them live. At this point, endless blue Tao runes appeared on his body, and an array formation appeared under his feet. It instantly spread out in all directions. In an instant, the world was frozen. Chapter 43:57. The expressions of the mortal realm's sage kings changed. This icy aura was the indestructible cold sky formation. Damn it! When did you lay it? They were simply too shocked. This was the legendary formation that sealed everything in ice. Even sage kings would find it hard to escape. However, this formation had a flaw. It required a very long time to prepare. Furthermore, once it was laid, it could not be kept for long. Hence, it could only be used in battle. However, in battle, the enemy would not give it a chance. Unexpectedly, the other party actually laid out the indestructible cold sky formation. Ice Scholar, I really underestimated you. However, it will not be that easy for you to kill us. Just wait. The mortal realm will return to this world. Let's go. After speaking, the people of the mortal realm quickly retreated. You want to leave? Ice sealing the world. The indestructible cold sky formation erupted, and the entire world froze. The people of the mortal realm even formed ice, sealing the world in ice. This is great. The deity Tao Union's people all revealed smiles. However, at this moment, there was the sound of ice shattering. Suddenly, a lotus flower appeared on the people of the mortal realm. The black lotus flower directly bloomed and broke through the ice. Then, those lotus flowers withered. As for the people of the mortal realm, they had already vanished. What's going on? Did they leave? The deity Tao Union's people showed unsightly expressions. Damn it, did the person behind the other party make a move? Lin Xian frowned. It was another black lotus flower. Right now, Xiao Chen was extremely certain that the mortal realm had a close connection with the black lotus flower. One day, Xiao Chen would personally destroy the mortal realm and find out who the master behind the black lotus flower was. Did they leave? Were we saved? Those Holy Land geniuses all released their bated breaths, feeling like they had just survived a calamity. Those sage kings also released their bated breaths. There was no helping it. Several sage kings had already fallen. Some were even severely injured. Indeed, that was the case. On the Azure Sea Pavilion's side, the Azure Sea Sovereign's complexion also turned incredibly pale. The earlier battle had severely injured the Azure Sea Sovereign. Master, the Azure Sea Sovereign clenched his teeth. The situation was extremely bad. He probably had to enter closed-door cultivation immediately. Once that happened, their Azure Sea Palace would be leaderless. Not only them, but even the holy kings from the joyous Union Hall and Seven-Star Pavilion would have to enter seclusion immediately. The people from the Kunlun Pavilion walked out and said, I can help you get some more jade pool water, but I don't know if it will be effective. At this time, the Frost Scholar also walked out and said, as long as the world of men doesn't get rid of the world will be destroyed. The second astral realm and even the myriad realms were in danger. Therefore, from now on, no holy city-level battles were allowed in the second astral realm. If any holy city wants to make a move, then don't blame us for being impolite. Just like that, a shocking battle came to an end. However, everyone's heart was very heavy. After all, as long as the world was not destroyed, they would be in danger. Furthermore, the human world was extremely mysterious. No one knew where their sect was located. Therefore, Even if these people wanted to take revenge, they didn't know where to start. He could only wait for the other party. Next time, they would come knocking on his door. It seemed that the most important thing now was to get rid of the poison. You can go to the Jade Lake when the time comes. The Jade Lake holy water there is very mysterious. The people from the Deity Dao Union said a few words and then left. Some of these people were also wearing masks. It was obvious that they were hiding their identities. Even if they revealed their faces, it was probably because they had changed their appearances. These people were like guardian deities. Normally, they would not appear. Once there was danger, they would instantly make a move. Now that the world of men left, they had to be nervous again. Xia Jiuyo's complexion turned even paler. Clearly, using his strength earlier had drained him greatly. Lin Xian said, "Old Xia, quickly go and rest. There should be no danger here." Lin Xian felt that Xia Jiuyo's best option now was to enter the divine crystal and sleep. Xia Jiuyo said, "All right, be careful here." After saying that, Xia Jiuyo vanished as well. On the other side, the cycle protectors and the others left as well. Only the shattered ground and the cracked sky remained. Originally, the immemorial grotto held a grand event. However, now it was filled with corpses and blood. Countless experts and geniuses died. Those from the world of men were mostly from the holy lands and holy cities. Every holy city was bleeding. Among them, the unparalleled sage ruler stared at the immemorial grotto and said coldly, "There is no such coincidence in the world. You all had best give us an explanation." Once he said that, many sage rulers stared at the immemorial grotto. The spirit sage ruler snorted coldly. "What? You all still suspect that I'm in cahoots with the world of men? Don't forget that we also suffered heavy losses. Even my grandson was killed. That's right. Don't slander me." The silver corpse sage ruler also walked out, emitting a cold aura. Unparalleled sage ruler. And the others said, "Everyone knows whether it's true or not. I don't need to say more. Everyone, please be more careful in the future." The other sage rulers also gasped. It seemed that they had to stay away from the immemorial grotto and Acheron Palace in the future. "All right, let's go. Let's hurry to the jade pool. Use the holy water there to detoxify the poison." The Kunlun sage ruler stood up and said coldly. His face was also extremely pale. The other sage rulers nodded and left together. After all, who knew if the people of the world of men would come back again? Lin Xian and the others also left with them. For a moment, the surroundings were silent. However, there were still some people who did not leave. Among them, other than the immemorial grotto and Acheron Palace, there were also the 10,000 Swords Pavilion and the Great Desolate Mansion. At this moment, the people of the Great Desolate Mansion were incomparably gloomy. The void even broke open, and another figure walked out. It was also a sage ruler. However, he was obviously older. He said, "What's going on? Didn't you say there was no danger? How did my junior brother die?" This old man was actually the senior brother of the Desolate Heaven Sage ruler. At this moment, his expression was extremely cold. The 10,000 Swords Pavilion Sage ruler divine, Ghost, also frowned. They had also suffered heavy losses in this battle. However, the spirit sage ruler said, "Why are you so anxious? It's not like he really died." After saying that, he formed a hand seal and quickly transmitted his voice to the void. "All right, the people of the Deity Dao Union have left. You can come out now." After a while, two figures appeared between heaven and earth. One was the mysterious woman, and the other was also a sage ruler. He wore a black robe that covered his face. At this moment, he gritted his teeth and said, "Damn it! I didn't expect that these people would escape even after such meticulous preparations. It's nothing. This time, they were heavily injured. Next time, we can take them down one by one. The corners of the spirit sage ruler's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Then he said, "All right, let them out." Chapter 43:58. The black-robed sage king nodded. With a flip of his hand, a blood-red flag appeared in the sky. The flag fluttered, and an endless sea of blood appeared. Figures appeared one after another. They were all enveloped by the sea of blood. At this moment, they all had pained expressions. Among them, there were a few terrifying figures. They were the souls of the sage kings. There was also one who cried out, "Grandpa, save me." He was Shi Yunhu. At this moment, the black-robed sage king waved his hand, and Shi Yunhu's soul was released. At the same time, another person's soul was released. The desolate heaven's saint king roared as soon as he appeared. His shattered body quickly healed. Then he appeared again. However, his aura was clearly much weaker than before. Damn it, was there a need to act so seriously? Sage King Huang Tian's expression was cold. This time, he was severely injured. He would need a long time to recover. Sage King Yanling said, "Fellow Taoist, you've suffered. However, if you didn't do this, how would we believe you?" Even so, he was still suspicious. Shi Yunhu was also released. He gritted his teeth and said, "Grandpa, you must kill that Lin Xian. I want to tear him into pieces. Don't worry, there will be plenty of chances." Sage King Yanling's eyes shone with a cold light. "Damn it, let us out." Countless roars could be heard. Two of them were extremely terrifying. These were the souls of two sage kings. They were sealed in the sea of blood. One of them was the Thunder Sage King, and the other was the giant Spirit Sage King from the Spirit Gathering Pavilion. The two of them were infuriated. The black-robed Sage King laughed. "You want to come out? Impossible. Just stay in there obediently. Don't worry. We'll refine you into puppets. We won't waste your energy." "Damn it," the giant Spirit Sage King roared. The Thunder Sage King said, "Thunder Sage City and Wushuang City have a grudge. Let me out and we'll work together. How about that?" Hearing this, the Silver Corpse Sage King laughed coldly. "Of course, I know that you have a grudge too. However, since you're already in such a state, then be obedient and be used by me. I'll refine you into a puppet, and we can work together. Damn it, I'll fight you to the death." Thunder God Saint King roared. However, he was restrained by a mysterious force and was unable to escape. The black-clothed Saint King said, "Don't waste your energy. This saint weapon is beyond your imagination. You won't be able to escape." With that, he flipped his hand, and the blood-red flag disappeared into the sky. The sea of blood, and the souls disappeared as well. On the other side, the injured Saint Kings had all arrived at the Jade Lake sacred ground. The Jade Lake's sacred leader personally received them and opened the Jade Lake for them to enter. Given the current situation, they had to work together because the world of mortals didn't just affect the holy city in the second astral realm. Even the sacred grounds of the true spirit world were affected. Therefore, they had to work together to resist the human world. This had happened before. This would happen once every tens of thousands of years. Even more than 100,000 years ago, there were once top-notch holy lands that joined forces to fight against the human world. That time, the human world suffered a heavy blow and went into hibernation for nearly 100,000 years. This time, there would probably be another earth-shaking battle. The sacred lords entered one after another. They were extremely grateful. At this moment, all of these holy masters were seated within the Nacre Lake, forming hand seals with their palms as they used the Nacre Lake to fight against the great sage corpse poison within their bodies. However, they still had curses that needed to be suppressed. It could be said that they were extremely weak. On the peerless Saint King's side, the law of Devour was constantly floating behind him. Lin Xian walked over and asked, "Senior brother, how is it?" The peerless Saint King asked. It was effective, but the effect was very slow. It would be troublesome for him to recover completely in a short period of time. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, "Senior brother, let me remove the curse for you first." After he finished speaking, he sat down cross-legged and unleashed the great dragon sword soul. His energy surged into the great dragon sword. The curse in his body had been completely removed. Moreover, he had helped the Green Mountain Sacred King to remove the curse before, so he was very familiar with it. The energy of the great dragon sword soul entered the peerless Saint King's body and began to remove the curse. This scene was naturally seen by the others as well. In an instant, there was a lot of discussion. No way. Lin Xian was going to remove the poison from the peerless Saint King's body? How could a middle saint venerable like him help a Saint King? The young geniuses didn't believe it, but they didn't leave quietly. 5 days later, the peerless Saint King suddenly opened his eyes and roared into the sky. The devouring vortex behind him had become even more terrifying. It was obvious that the curse had been removed. Next was the supreme Saint Corpse poison. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were shocked. Was it really effective? They were too surprised. What did Lin Xian have in his hands? It was so magical. This news spread, and for a moment, the sacred cities were also shocked. Soon, the Huhuan Palace's BUS Saint King had an idea. She asked Qin Xianer to personally invite Lin Xian. Qin Xianer came and explained her intentions. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Of course." He followed Qin Xianer and walked in the Nacre Lake to where the BUS Saint King was. The BUS Saint King looked at Lin Xian and said, "Lin Gongzi, if you can help me remove the curse, the Huhuan Palace, and I will be eternally grateful. I will also give Lin Gongzi a big gift." The BUS Saint King was being courteous. Lin Xian didn't dare to be arrogant in front of a Saint King. Even if a Saint King was severely injured, it was still extremely terrifying. So he nodded and said, "Next, I will let the sword Qi enter your body. I hope you won't resist." The BUS Saint King nodded. If it was someone else, the BUS Saint King wouldn't dare to do it at all. This was because it was too dangerous. If the other party attacked, he would probably be injured even more severely. However, if it was Lin Xian, he wasn't worried. Lin Xian's palm slowly formed a seal. The power of the great dragon sword soul appeared again and entered the BUS Saint King's body to help him remove the curse. To be honest, Lin Xian was very happy to help these Saint Kings remove the curse. After all, these Saint Kings would definitely fight against the world in the future. With one more Saint King, their side would become stronger. Moreover, these Saint Kings would definitely be grateful for his help this time. They might even give him a big gift. A gift from a Saint King would definitely bring him unexpected benefits. The power of the great dragon sword soul exploded and quickly destroyed the curse. 7 days later, the BUS Saint King opened his eyes. The curse was really removed. Her aura had recovered a little. "Master." The geniuses of the Joyous Union Palace also gathered around, their faces filled with excitement. "Lin Gongzi, thank you. We can't thank you enough." These people thanked him one after another. Qin Xianer's eyes shone brightly. "Lin Gongzi, it's hard to repay your kindness. No matter what request you have, we will agree to it." The surrounding Saint Kings were still hesitating. They didn't believe that a young man could help them. But when they saw the situation at the Joyous Union Palace, they all took a deep breath, and a look of shock appeared in their eyes. Chapter 4359. This Lin Xian could really help them get rid of the curse. Their eyes turned red at the thought of this. Hurry up and invite Lin Gongzi over. These sage kings sent people over and prepared to present gifts. Soon, the youths of the various sacred grounds also came to invite Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "No rush, I'll do it one by one." Indeed, it would consume a lot of energy for him to do so. But luckily, These sacred cities would provide him with sufficient resources and treasures. Lin Xian didn't have to worry about the problem of energy consumption. Of course, not every sacred cities came. At least those sacred cities that were against Wushuang City didn't come. However, Thunder God City did come because they had no leader now. Their sage king was killed, so they could only follow. Seeing Lin Xian helping more and more sage kings, they felt their scalps go numb. If Lin Xian wanted to take action against them now, no one would be able to resist him. My Thunder God City still has a sage king that has been sleeping. Seems like it's time to wake him up. Those elders took a deep breath and prepared to use their strongest trump cards. Otherwise, with the threat of the secular world present, their Thunder God City would definitely be destroyed. On the other side, the 1,000 monstrous cities Golden Crow clan had left. Demon City didn't come to Jade Lake, sacred ground at all, which made everyone puzzled. Master, don't you need to cure the poison? Nine-headed Qilin was shocked. He could clearly feel that Soaring Sky Sage King was indeed injured and poisoned. But why didn't he go to Jade Lake? Could it be because of Wushuang City? The others also frowned. He said that we should work together to deal with the human world. I don't think Wushuang City will make things difficult for us. However, Soaring Sky Sage King snorted coldly. You don't have to care about this. I have my ways. Soaring Sky Sage King's face was cold. He said to those behind him, "Go to Demon King Palace now. I still have some things to do." After saying that, he tore open the void and disappeared. He actually returned to the primordial grotto. The Saint Kings from the ancient grotto frowned. Who was it? Come out. The silver corpse Saint King shattered the void. In the next moment, he was stunned. It's you. That's right. It's me. Soaring Sky, Saint Monarch walked out of the broken space and said, I know your connection with the mortal world, so there's no need to hide it from me. I'm here for the antidote. Give me the antidote, and I'll join you. Have you thought it through? Once you join, not only will your entire myriad demon city join, as well, to be of use to me. I naturally understand this. Soaring Sky, Saint King nodded, a cold light flashing in his eyes. He had his own reasons for doing so, because he felt that the human world would eventually emerge victorious in this battle. Therefore, he had come here in advance. When the time came, he would be able to obtain many benefits. Very good, welcome. Holy King Yanling and Holy King Silver Corpse smiled. 3 months later, the Saint Kings of the Jade Lake sacred ground all let out roars that shook the heavens and earth. Their curses had already disappeared, and the remaining great Saint Corpse poison could be removed with the Jade Lake sacred water. It was only a matter of time. On this day, many Saint Kings stood up and walked towards a palace in the distance. There was a young figure sitting cross-legged there. It was Lin Xian. Lin Gongzi, thank you for your help. We will remember this favor in our hearts. If you need anything in the future, Lin Gongzi, feel free to ask. The ones who spoke were Saint Kings. If others saw this, they would definitely be shocked, because Lin Xian was only a mid-stage Saint Venerable. These Saint Kings treated him so well, they didn't even treat Lin Xian as a junior. Of course, this was because Lin Xian had sufficient talent and strength. Lin Xian also stood up. The Saint Kings were too courteous. In the future, when I appear in the human world, I will still need your help. Lin Xian was a deity palace master. In addition, he was the junior brother of peerless Saint King. Therefore, his status was not inferior to the Saint Kings. After hearing this, the Saint Kings nodded. No problem. The human world was too hateful. As long as there is a chance, we will definitely join hands. Indeed, if the human world continues to exist, it will be a fatal threat to every Saint city. The Saint Kings took out their storage rings and gave them to Lin Xian. There were many treasures inside. Next, Peerless Saint King also walked over. He called the other Saint Kings over and prepared to discuss the next step. The Saint Kings also said, Since the human world has made a move this time, they will definitely not let this matter rest. Moreover, I guess that they are related to those people in the primordial grotto. Therefore, we will have to do our best to eliminate the remaining ones. The other Saint Kings also nodded. Peerless Saint King said, "Fortunately, there is only half a year left. At that time, we can let these disciples go to the buried Emperor's star. They can also avoid being targeted by the human world. Indeed, once they go to the buried Emperor's star, there should be no danger, right?" Everyone discussed spiritedly. In the end, they decided that it would be better to rest and recuperate during this period of time. Firstly, they could preserve their strength. Secondly, they could avoid unnecessary trouble. Therefore, the Saint Kings continued to detoxify, while the young, genius disciples went into seclusion. They were waiting for the final opportunity. Peerless Saint King found Lin Xian and said, "Junior brother, if you don't want to go into seclusion, you can go to the nothingness to take a look." "The nothingness, what is that?" Lin Xian was surprised. Peerless Saint King said that it is an eternal land. It is very strange, and it is in the true spirit world. After Lin Xian heard this, he was also very surprised. He was prepared to go and explore it. After all, this place should have many benefits. Indeed, Peerless Saint King said that the nothingness is a very mysterious place. It is called the Eternal Land because the time there is fixed. Fixed, what does that mean? Lin Xian was surprised. Peerless Saint King said that there is only a period of time in the nothingness. There you have neither past nor future, only eternity. Eternity, what is that? Peerless Saint King said, "I don't know the details. I only know that there is a battle recorded in that place, a battle that happened 100,000 years ago. That battle was recorded in the nothingness. Once you enter the nothingness, you will be able to see this battle. This is a shocking battle, and it will be very helpful to you. Countless geniuses want to see it, but whether or not you can see it depends on your ability." After Lin Xian heard this, he took a deep breath. Is there such a magical place? Then he really has to go and take a look. At this time, two other figures also came over to prepare to go with him. They were Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer. Guan Songhai should be, because the vast sea Saint King was heavily injured. He felt great pressure, so he urgently wanted to increase his strength. Chapter 4360. As for Qin Xianer, it was obvious that she was sent by Luiyue Sage King to repay her kindness. Lin Xian did not have any objections to this. After all, they were friends. As for Shen Jingqiu and Morong Qingcheng, they chose to stay behind and cultivate in seclusion. After obtaining the map, Lin Xian and the other two were ready to set off. They rode on a gigantic flying sword and quickly disappeared from the world. Not long after they disappeared, a few more figures appeared at the temple. "Someone come quickly. This emperor is back." The Crimson Dragon's voice rang out. The people at the temple were shocked. "It's you, Peacock," and the rest were stunned when they realized who it was. That's right. It was the Crimson Dragon, Toad, Little White, Black Mountain, and the North Demon. Is that kid back yet? I've heard about him everywhere. It's Lord Dragon God. Peacock and the rest knew about the Crimson Dragon. They knew that he was Lin Xian's friend, so they were extremely respectful. Peacock told them about what happened previously. After listening, the Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Damn, those people in the human world actually made a move. Moreover, they almost killed so many Sage Kings. How despicable. The North Demon and Black Mountain were equally shocked. Black Mountain's eyes flickered. Finally, they couldn't help but make a move. "Where is that kid?" they asked, and found out that he was at Yaoqi. They then flew over. When they arrived at Yaoqi, they realized that Lin Xian and the rest had already left. They actually went to the Void Land. The Crimson Dragon's eyes flickered. Toad asked, "Should we go too? I'm very curious about that place." The Crimson Dragon said, "Let's go to a few other places. There are also good things there." Little White Monkey also blinked his eyes. The three of them started to discuss again. On the other side, Black Mountain said, "Disciple, you go take a look. I'm also going to take a look at this legendary true spirit world." Black Mountain left alone. The North Demon took a deep breath and moved quickly. He also had some people to meet. After all, this was his hometown. Lin Xian and the others did not know that the Crimson Dragon and the others had returned. At this moment, they had arrived at their destination. There was a mysterious aura up ahead. The Void Land was located in the northern plains. It was extremely desolate. Moreover, there weren't any living creatures here, so ordinary people wouldn't dare to approach. But now, there were quite a number of people. Clearly, they were here to enter the Void Land. When Lin Xian and the others arrived at this place, they felt a mysterious aura and the surrounding figures, which made them frown. It seemed that this place was mysterious and dangerous. Furthermore, there was also intense competition. "Let's go and see what mysteries this place has." They quickly flew over. At the same time, the expressions of the people around them changed. Many people instantly dodged. What was going on? Why was he hiding from those three people? Were they very powerful? Some people did not know. However, one of the elders frowned. "You don't know? That person is Lin Xian. He's extremely terrifying." "What? He's Lin Xian? The legendary Lin Wudi, the central emperor of the past?" It was said that he had recently undergone a great battle. He had killed many geniuses and experts. I didn't expect him to come here too. Yes, I heard that there are other experts here. Even those rising geniuses such as Han Chong and the others are here too. I really don't know how those mysterious geniuses compare to Lin Wudi. In the end, who was more tyrannical? Ahead, the Void Land. For the time being, no one dared to enter. However, there were quite a number of people standing on the surrounding mountains. Every mountain peak represented a power. It seemed like these people were all waiting for the right moment. Those who could come here were all terrifying experts and powerful geniuses. However, these people were not the most dazzling at this moment. The most dazzling person was on top of a tall mountain. It was a man. He stood there with his hands behind his back. His body was surrounded by a terrifying halo. He was like a god that filled the sky, extremely dazzling. Countless people looked at this figure with respect in their eyes. This person was very powerful. He had been a genius since he was young. Now, he had grown to the late stage of the Saint Venerable realm. He was not far from the Saint King realm. He was the genius of the Wavering Light Sacred Land, the Wavering Light Saint. Although geniuses from outside the domain had arrived and mysterious geniuses had risen, it still could not hide the Wavering Light Saint's brilliance. After so many years, logically speaking, he should have been able to take over the entire Wavering Light Sacred Land. However, he did not do so. He chose a person who had recovered from the divine crystal and became the sacred lord again. He was still the saint, but he was probably the one who had the final say in the entire sacred land. At this moment, the Wavering Light Saint's eyes flickered as he looked into the distance. His gaze was very calm, but it was extremely deep. No one knew what he was thinking. This guy was becoming more and more unfathomable. There were also other figures on the surrounding mountains. For example, there was a figure that was abnormally hazy. It was Gu Feng. Naturally, he had also come. When he saw the Wavering Light Saint, he also frowned. The Wavering Light Saint also gave him a sense of danger. He didn't expect there to be such a peerless genius in the spiritual world. Next to Gu Feng stood Wan Jianyi and the others. At this moment, Wan Jianyi was also looking at the Wavering Light Saint in surprise. He had always thought that his peerless enemy was Lin Xian or this Gu Feng in front of him. He didn't care about the others. He was even confident that he could fight against those who had risen up. However, at this moment, when he saw the wavering light saint, he felt a chill down his spine. Under the other party's calm gaze, there was an extremely terrifying power. Wan Jianyi really didn't expect there to be such a terrifying person. Such a person actually didn't walk the path of the stars? At this moment, a figure from the Gu family appeared on the mountain peak and said respectfully to Gu Feng, "Young master, that Lin Xian is here." Hearing this, Gu Feng raised his eyebrows and asked how many people he had brought. He should have brought a lot of experts from the Divine Palace. However, that person said that the other party had only brought 2 people. They were Guan Songhai from the Deep Sea Palace and Qin Xiener from the Joyous Union Palace. Hearing this, Gu Feng was surprised. Only 2 young geniuses? This kid was really bold. A biting cold light erupted from Wan Jinyi's eyes. He said that now was a good opportunity to kill him. He had countless secrets on him. If he could kill him, then all the treasures on him would be his. Kill him? There was no hurry. Gu Feng narrowed his eyes. "Let's talk about it after we investigate the situation." Wan Jinyi said, "Don't worry. If you suspect that there is someone behind you, I will help you." A biting cold light appeared in his eyes. During this period of time, Gu Feng had indeed brought him to the All Beginnings Holy Land. In the past few months, he had cultivated the All Beginnings Holy Land's cultivation technique and cultivated the aura of primal chaos. This made his sword of primal chaos even more terrifying. Therefore, he urgently wanted to fight Lin Xian. Chapter 4361. What Wan Jinyi didn't know was that during this period of time, Lin Xian had been using the great dragon sword soul to detoxify these sage kings. And out of gratitude, these sage kings each gave a large number of heavenly treasures. There were even some insights and experiences of the sage kings. Lin Xian's gains during this period of time were also extremely terrifying. His trump cards had become even more abundant. Even the great Tao insights that the sage kings personally imparted were incomparable to others. Of course, these things only happened in the Jade Pool, and others had no way of knowing. At this moment, 3 streams of light flew over from the void. Then, a vast amount of energy swept out in all directions. Countless people raised their heads to look at the sky, and then exclaimed one after another. They saw 3 figures appear in the sky. Someone said that they were the geniuses of the holy city. No, the person in the middle was Lin Xian, the central emperor of the past. As expected, such a peerless genius had also come. Everyone gasped. Some people exclaimed, some were envious, and some had cold, killing intent in their eyes. In the sky, Lin Xian and the other 2 arrived and looked around. He also saw some familiar figures. He didn't expect that this void land would attract so many experts. "Let's find a place first." Lin Xian looked at a mountain peak in front of him. That place was very close to the void land. So he waved his hand and led the 3 of them to quickly fly forward. In an instant, they landed on that mountain peak. However, at this moment, a cold laugh was heard. "Get lost! This place is ours." The voice was cold and merciless as it spread in all directions. The surrounding people were all stunned. Who dared to provoke these 3 geniuses at this time? Behind the 3 of them stood 3 colossi. Lin Xian frowned, and the faces of Qin Xian and Guan Songhai also darkened. They turned their heads to look. In front of them, the void split open, and some people walked out. Walking at the front was a very handsome man. He was wearing a Taoist robe, and his eyes were sharp. His body carried an extremely strong spatial power. "We, the ancient race, have taken a fancy to this place. So the 3 of you get lost." Ancient race, people from the Emperor clan? Many people were stunned when they heard this. Originally, they had thought that it was someone who didn't know the difference between life and death. But now, it would seem that wasn't the case. The ancient race was a great emperor clan. Their foundation and strength were terrifying. Moreover, The other party cultivated spatial divine abilities. What a terrifying clan this was. Now that they had come out, they wanted to forcibly occupy this mountain peak. No matter how strong Lin Xian and the other two were, they wouldn't be able to withstand it. You dare to reprimand us? Are you tired of living? At this moment, Guan Songhai spoke coldly. There was an extremely cold glint in his eyes. Who dared to block their path? Acting recklessly. The people at the front started laughing as well. You dare to challenge our ancient race? I think you're the one who doesn't know the difference between life and death. Scram. Or I'll send all of you to hell. After saying that, these people exuded an extremely terrifying space law covering a part of the world. This caused everyone's hair to stand on end. It was too terrifying. Every single one of them was an expert of the space attribute. With so many of them attacking at the same time, no one would be able to withstand it. In fact, he would be banished to the void, without even having to fight. Was this spatial divine ability again? Guan Songhai frowned. He wasn't unfamiliar with this because Gu Feng was famous in the second astral realm back then. It was just that he didn't expect Gu Feng's family to be even more terrifying than he had imagined. Every single person here would be an extremely top genius in the second astral realm. But so what? He wasn't a weakling either. Therefore, he said, I've long wanted to see just how powerful the Emperor clan is. Today, I'll take the lead and smile. Guan Songhai snorted coldly as the water law on his body continued to erupt. A terrifying wave swept out in all directions, turning the surrounding sky into a sea. The faces of the surrounding people changed. It couldn't be, right? Was this guy really going to attack the ancient race? There was a boom. A wave palm flew out like a sea dragon surging between the heavens and the earth, acting recklessly. The man from the Gu family on the other side snorted coldly as well. With a wave of his hand, a huge crack tore open as he charged towards the wave. The two instantly engaged in a huge battle. Terrifying laws swept through the 9 heavens. Between heaven and earth, the terrifying water law spread out. The terrifying space law was vast and mighty. For a moment, the two were evenly matched. All right, at this moment, a voice sounded. Kid, if you brought the people from the temple, you could still fight with me. But now, with just the 3 of you, you're a little pitifully weak. Hearing this, Guan Songhai stopped and turned his head to look. Lin Xian and Gu Feng turned their heads as well. So it's you. Lin Xian's eyes bloomed with a piercing cold light. The other party was none other than Gu Feng. Gu family, how impressive. However, I'm afraid you can't stop me, unless all the experts of the Gu family come out. Lin Xian's eyes burst with an extremely cold light. He indeed had such confidence. The Gu family space law was terrifying and unpredictable. However, he had the great dragon sword soul and could cut through the void. Therefore, he wasn't afraid at all. Is that so? So confident? You want to add my 10,000 swords pavilion? Another voice was heard. Immediately after, Wan Jinni walked over with the 10,000 swords pavilion. Sword chi overflowed from their bodies and rarely reached the 9 heavens, making everyone's scalp tingle. Such a terrifying sword Dao expert joined hands with the Gu family. It seemed that even if Lin Xian had the temple behind him, he was still in danger. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai frowned. This time, only the 3 of them came, but they didn't expect to meet so many people. Moreover, these people seemed to have brought in enough experts. They were afraid that they were really in danger. Lin Xian, on the other hand, laughed. Who was I then? So it was you. What right do you have to be arrogant in front of me? You weren't my opponent before, and I'm afraid you still aren't. Feeling Lin Xian's mocking smile, Wan Jinni's pupils shrank, and his face became abnormally ferocious. Kid, I've lost you before, but so what? I'm no longer the same as I was back then. Do you really think that I can't beat you now? He took a step forward, and a terrifying sword chi instantly burst out. A huge crack appeared between heaven and earth, as if the entire world was split open. Kid, if you want to be enemies with us now, I'm afraid the three of you will be exiled in an instant. Therefore, I advise you to be sensible. Gu Feng sneered, as if victory was in his hands. Do you really think that you can defeat me with just a few of you? Lin Xian also laughed. Tell me, what do you want? I think you don't dare to start a war with me easily. Chapter 4362. That was indeed the case. Lin Xian knew that although they were few in number, every one of them was extremely terrifying, especially his strength. During this period of time, he had benefited from healing the Sage King, causing his strength to become stronger. Therefore, he was not afraid of these people. Moreover, he also knew that the Gu family did not dare to start a war with him. After all, there were other experts around, eyeing him covetously. Once they started a war, the others would reap the benefits. Very simple. You and I will have a duel, no matter who wins or loses. At least before entering the Void Land, we will not attack you again. The person who said this was naturally Wan Jinni. Now that he had cultivated the chaotic energy, he naturally could not wait to attack. Gu Feng was naturally happy to do so. He had already controlled Wan Jinni, so he wanted to use Wan Jinni to test what level Lin Xian had reached. You still dare to attack me? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. I don't know who gave you the courage, but since it's like this, I'll get rid of you completely today. Lin Xian looked ahead, and a biting cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Obviously, although Wan Jinni was not as good as him, he was definitely an expert in the sword Dao. He did not want Wan Jinni to continue growing like this. Kid, you will regret this. I will make you suffer 100 times more pain. Wan Jinni's eyes emitted a biting cold light, and in the next moment, his aura exploded. It caused the void between heaven and earth to shatter continuously. The people on the surrounding mountain peaks narrowed their eyes. Interesting. He didn't expect to see such a battle even before entering the Void Land. On a mountain peak, the Alcade Saint looked ahead, and a mysterious light flickered in his eyes. He muttered, Lin Xian, I did not expect you to return after so many years. Let me see what kind of strength you have gained on the starry ancient road. Although the Alcade Saint was not ranked among the 5 heroes, his strength was indeed unfathomable. No one had ever dared to underestimate him. Therefore, he was very interested in Lin Xian now. Kid, prepare to die. In front, Wan Jinni took a step forward, and a majestic sword was swept out in all directions like a storm. That aura caused the expressions of the surrounding geniuses to change. This person's sword chi was terrifying. Even the experts of the older generation were frowning. It had to be said that the other party did indeed have the qualifications to fight with Lin Xian. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he felt the sword chi coming from his opponent's body. Has his strength increased again? No wonder he dares to attack me. It had to be said that this fellow was indeed a genius in the sword Dao. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the 9 suns' divine flame burst forth from his body. He was like the sun god of war, sweeping through the 9 heavens. The terrifying aura caused the surrounding people to suck in a breath of cold air. As expected of Lin Wudi, the legendary Central Emperor, his strength was really strong. Wan Jinni naturally knew how powerful Lin Xian was, so he did not dare to be careless. He immediately used 10,000 swords returned to origin, as well as a powerful array formation. Spirit extinguishing sword formation. The terrifying sword array appeared between heaven and earth, capable of destroying everything. On the other side, Lin Xian was like a peerless sun god of war. His fists were wide open, sweeping in all directions. With one strike, the man ruler seal descended from the sky, slapping directly at the annihilation sword array. Too strong. When the surrounding people saw this, They all sucked in a breath of cold air. Boom. The strike was like the palm of a god. The annihilation sword array was directly shattered, and Wan Jiani was also sent flying, his face a little cold. Lin Xian said, "Is this all you've got? I don't even need to look at you. If you have any other trump cards, take them out. Otherwise, you have no chance of winning at all." "Damn, brat, you're arrogant enough. But do you really think that I don't have any trump cards?" An extremely cold light appeared in Wan Jiani's eyes. He did not expect that during this period of time, the other party's strength had also become stronger. But so what? This time, he had cultivated the chaotic qi. In the next moment, he roared angrily, and an extremely terrifying aura appeared on his body. Then, a sword light flew out, rising and falling. Above it, a terrifying power spread out in all directions. There was actually the aura of primal chaos above it. The surrounding people looked at the sword light in the sky, and then their expressions turned grave. Many experts of the older generation gasped, "Heavens, why do I feel the aura of primal chaos above it?" That's right, it's indeed the aura of primal chaos. Could it be that this sword light is the primal chaos sword light? Cries of surprise rang out. On a mountain peak in the distance, the people of the Gu family revealed cold smiles. "This Lin Xian is dead for sure this time. Wan Jiani has already cultivated the primal chaos sword light. The might of that sword Dao is unparalleled. I don't believe that brat can block it." On another mountain peak, the Alcade Saint Sun was also shocked. Primal chaos light? He did not expect that the people of the Holy City would have a connection with the All Beginnings Holy Land. They even cultivated the primal chaos light. Interesting. Someone beside him asked, "Saint Sun, does this mean that Lin Xian will be defeated?" The Alcade Saint Sun indeed said that it was not certain. Don't forget that his foundation is also very strong. Therefore, let's wait and see how this battle will turn out. Although he said that, his gaze was still firmly fixed on Lin Xian. Clearly, he cared more about Lin Xian. In front of him, after Wan Jiani displayed the primal chaos sword light, he faced the sky and laughed. "How about it, brat? You've seen my trump card, right? This is a sword light formed by the aura of primal chaos. It's a power capable of splitting heaven and earth apart. What are you going to use to fight against me? Primal chaos light?" Lin Xian furrowed his brows. From the looks of it, Wan Jiani should have gone to the All Beginnings Holy Land. He knew that Wan Jiani had already cultivated a trace of the primal chaos sword light. However, the might of that was incomparable to the current one. In other words, Wan Jiani had been cultivating the primal chaos sword light all this time. The All Beginnings Holy Land? It seemed that Gufeng had helped him. After all, it would be very difficult for Wan Jiani to enter the All Beginnings Holy Land by himself. However, it would be different if he had the help of a great emperor clan. Although the primal chaos sword light was powerful, Wan Jiani did not care about it. Therefore, he still had a look of contempt in his eyes. Upon seeing this scene, Wan Jiani was thoroughly enraged. "Damn it, brat, what kind of expression is that? Could it be that you think that the current you is capable of contending against me?" Wan Jiani was thoroughly enraged. "Kill!" With a roar, the primal chaos sword light blossomed with incomparable radiance. Then it slashed forward. Heaven and earth were instantly split apart. This attack was incomparably powerful. Perhaps even a late-stage Holy Venerate would not be able to withstand it. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. The 10 absolute swords flew out and formed a divine sword. In the next instant, a biting cold radiance burst out from his eyes as he slashed his sword toward the sky. Chapter 4363. Boom, boom, boom. The two sword radiances clashed in the sky like divine swords. Then, Countless cracks formed in the sky. Countless black holes appeared. The surrounding people also retreated frantically. The two of them were too powerful. He actually blocked it. When the people from the Gu family saw this scene, they frowned. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to block the chaotic sword radiance. Wan Jinni frowned as well. He roared, and the chaotic sword radiance exploded again. It seemed like he wanted to suppress it completely. However, the power of the 10 extinction swords was also unparalleled. It had an extremely strong sword principle that could sweep through everything. It was simply impossible to break such a divine sword. However, Wan Jinni's eyes were suddenly filled with murderous intent. Go to hell, kid. 3 black bottle gourds flew out of his ring of holding. The gourds cracked open, and the chaotic chi inside spread out, instantly shrouding him. When they saw this scene, the pupils of the surrounding people shrunk. Why was there still primal chaos chi? And it did not look like it belonged to Wan Jinni. Damn it, this was not his power. What he did was too despicable. Qin Xiener, and Wan Jinni snorted. However, when the Gu family heard this, they sneered. Despicable? You are really naive. This is also a kind of trump card. Use it if you have the ability. Between heaven and earth, the terrifying chaotic chi was all absorbed by Wan Jinni. On the other side, the chaotic sword was even more terrifying. Wan Jinni smiled proudly. He was confident that with such a trump card, Lin Xian would definitely not be able to block it. Today was the day for him to take revenge. Boom. The chaotic sword exploded with power again and attacked quickly. The terrifying sword radiance filled the sky. It was as if thousands of stars had fallen and slashed down. With a crack, the 10 extinction swords were broken. Oh no, Lin Xian was in danger. When the surrounding people saw this, they all exclaimed. Once the 10 extinction swords were broken, Lin Xian would definitely die. Lin Xian, Guan Songhai, and Qin Xiener also exclaimed. Their eyes were filled with anxiety. However, at this moment, Lin Xian was very calm. With external help? So what? An extremely terrifying aura burst from his eyes as he unleashed the breathing technique of the dragons. At the same time, the dragon roared inside his body. The roaring dragon soul came out, and the broken 10 ultimates, swords exploded with power once again. Then, a sword flew out like a divine dragon, roaring between heaven and earth. He slashed forward. It clashed with the sword of primal chaos once more. Earth-shattering energy filled the air, shattering everything in its path. The people around him couldn't even open their eyes. Damn it, so strong. What happened just now? Wasn't Lin Xian about to lose? How could he still fight back? Some people were surprised. However, people like Gu Feng, the Alcade Saint's son, and the others all had extremely solemn expressions. Their gazes transformed into divine rainbows, piercing through everything. In the next moment, their pupils shrank. Damn it, how is this possible? Gu Feng's expression became extremely ugly. This was because he saw a figure flying backward and coming back. It is Wan Jinni at this moment. Wan Jinni was sent flying while spitting out blood. Cracks could be seen on his body. The sword of chaos in his hand dimmed as well, having been split in half down the middle. The others also saw it, and immediately cried out in surprise. No way, Wan Jinni was actually defeated. How is this possible? Even such a terrifying sword of chaos couldn't do anything to Lin Xian? What exactly did Lin Xian use just now? Everyone was surprised. The experts from the Wavering Light Holy Land were also stunned. It couldn't be, right? Did this guy actually win? In front, the Alcade Saint's son looked at this scene with flickering eyes. As expected, what a strong combat power. He will be a difficult opponent in the future. It seemed that everything was within his expectations. Wan Jinni's face was pale. His confidence was shattered. Once again. How is this possible? Even such a powerful sword of chaos can't defeat him? damn it, I don't believe it. He stood up and roared at the sky. However, Lin Xian slashed down again, directly splitting him in half. Blood mist filled the air, and the chaotic aura was completely destroyed. No, Wan Jiani was completely terrified. However, between heaven and earth, a large crack instantly rescued Wan Jiani. Gu Feng walked out and said in a deep voice, "Kid, stop. With us here, you can forget about killing him." Lin Xian frowned. "I don't know why you saved his life time and time again. However, he has already lost to me twice. He can't pose any threat to me at all. From now on, he is no different from an ant in my eyes." Damn it! On the other side of the void, Wan Jiani had recovered his body. Hearing this, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Indeed, losing to Lin Xian twice made him unable to raise his head for the rest of his life. Lin Xian didn't care about Wan Jiani. In his opinion, Wan Jiani was no different from an ant. He stared at Gu Feng. "The battle between us hasn't ended yet. Why don't we have a decisive battle today?" An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. No way. Is this kid going to fight with the top genius of the great emperor family? Those people from the Gu family were also furious. "Kid, are you courting death? Who do you think you are? How dare you fight against us?" Endless spatial laws appeared on their bodies. Many spatial cracks appeared around Lin Xian, wanting to swallow him up. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a flash of sword light, he shattered all the spatial cracks. He stood there as if nothing could invade him. "You ants aren't my match. Hurry up and scram. Gu Feng, do you dare to fight? How is that possible? Is our spatial laws effective against them?" Those people from the Gu family were stunned when they saw this scene. One must know that people of the same level couldn't even block one of their attacks. Even those late-stage experts couldn't block these attacks at all. But now, Lin Xian was completely fine. What's going on? What exactly is his sword chi? Gu Feng's expression also became incomparably cold. "Do you think I'm really afraid of you? However, now isn't the time to fight with you. Wait until I enter the void and get what I want. That will be the time of your death." After saying that, Gu Feng turned around and walked towards the back. The surrounding people sighed. They didn't expect that the shocking battle still didn't happen. However, they also knew that the two of them wouldn't make a move so easily, because if one of them lost, it would have a huge impact on one's Dao heart. Just as Gu Feng returned to the mountain peak, the sound of footsteps suddenly came from the void in front of him. What's going on? Is someone coming out? The surrounding people all widened their eyes. Then they looked inside one by one. The footsteps became louder and louder. Then the crowd saw three figures coming out. They stood at the edge of the void. These three people were cold, as if they were looking down on everything. When the surrounding people saw this, they all took a deep breath. Among them, a man from the Gu family walked out and cupped his fists. "May I ask, when can we enter?" "Who are you?" the person in front asked coldly. Chapter 4364. The Gu family said, "We're at the ancient clan of the ancients." As soon as he said that, the three people in front were shocked. "So, you're from the Emperor clan. You can enter." However, only three people can enter. Only three peoples. The man from the Gu family frowned. However, Gu Feng said, "All right, three it is." Then he looked at the two people and said, "You two follow me." They were a man and a woman. Their status and talent in the Gu family were extraordinary, so they were qualified to enter with Gu Feng. Gu Feng said, "You two wait here, or you can go back." Then Gu Feng looked at Wan Jiani and said coldly, "Heal your injuries first." After saying those words, he led the two of them forward and soon entered the void. Looking at the three people's disappearing figures, The people on the surrounding mountain peaks all had cold gazes. Someone even said, "We're from the four symbols sacred grounds and want to enter to watch." However, the figure in front said coldly, "I'm sorry. The number of people today is full. Please come again next time." What? It's full? The people from the four symbols sacred grounds were stunned. On the other side, the people from the other sacred grounds and even the sacred city all spoke up. However, they were all rejected. "The number of people is really full this time. I hope you won't make things difficult for us." The figure in the void said coldly, "Saint, what should we do?" The people from the wavering light sacred ground did the same. They frowned. The wavering light saint said, "You guys wait here. I'll go in and take a look." After saying that, he walked forward. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people stopped talking. They looked forward. It's the wavering light saint. Is he going to make a move? He probably wants to enter the void. Lin Xian also turned his head. Is it him? He also remembered the wavering light saint clearly. This person hid very well. He was a very difficult opponent. In front, the figure in the void also frowned when he saw this. "Sir, please stay. I've already been very polite to you. If you still want to enter, don't blame us for attacking." There was a hint of arrogance in the figure's eyes. It was as if he didn't care about the geniuses in the world. The Alcade Saint came to the front. Without saying anything, he raised his hand and took out a token. He waved it lightly in front of the other party. That person's pupils shrank. What was this? The next moment, he sucked in a breath of cold air, and his eyes were filled with shock. The Alcade Saint's son had indeed said that. How was it? Am I qualified to enter? You can go in. After saying that, the Alcade Saint put away the token. Very good. His figure flickered and disappeared. The surrounding people were all stunned. Didn't you say that the quota was full? Why was he able to enter? You're obviously lying to us. Let's go in together. Many experts walked out. Up ahead, the figure in the void said, "What? You want to fight?" He didn't know the difference between life and death. That person punched forward. With a loud bang, several figures were sent flying while coughing up blood. Their eyes were filled with fear. How could he be so strong? A bunch of ants. They really don't know the difference between life and death. How dare they behave so atrociously in the void? Another person sneered. The three of them looked down like gods. "We already said that the quota is full. Everyone come again next time. Don't make things difficult for us." The three of them had contemptuous smiles in their eyes. The surrounding people were shocked. Some of them didn't believe it and attacked again. There were even older experts who attacked forcefully. Those were late-stage holy venerables, but they were sent flying and coughing up blood in one move. In an instant, hundreds of figures were sent flying. Some of them even coughed up blood and were seriously injured. Their bodies had exploded. The faces of the three figures in front also darkened. He said coldly, "If anyone else trespassed, they would be killed without mercy." Extremely cold killing intent appeared on their bodies. The surrounding people fell silent. They were too strong, whether it was a one-on-one or a group attack. They were no match for them at all. The strength of these three people was really too strong. This void was too magical. It could actually nurture such top-notch experts. What's going on? The void is too strange. Why do I feel that they are much stronger than us? Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai frowned. Even Lin Xian was surprised. Why were there people in the void? These three people were obviously living in the void, but that shouldn't be the case. According to his senior brother, unparalleled Holy King, this was an eternal land. Time didn't flow. How did these people survive? The surrounding people were discussing. What should they do? Should they all join forces? Perhaps they still had a chance. However, at this moment, an older figure shook his head and sighed. Don't provoke them. Their identities are very unusual. If we all join forces, we might be able to enter, but it will cause a lot of trouble. Were these people's identities so terrifying, so many experts from the Holy Lands joining forces couldn't fight against them? It seemed that they could only watch from the outside. Everyone sighed. No one dared to attack again. However, at this moment, Lin Xian walked out. He was determined to obtain this void. How could he go back just because of it? Therefore, he walked forward. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. Even Qin Xianer and Guan Sanghai were stunned. They weren't confident that they could defeat the people in front. The three people in front looked at him with disdain. How could the people outside be a match for them? However, suddenly they frowned. They realized that there was another person who was recklessly walking over. Kid, didn't you understand what I said just now? Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian said as he walked. I have to enter the void. If you want to attack me, go ahead. If I'm killed by you, it means that I'm inferior. However, if I can defeat you, I hope that you won't stop me and let me in. Hearing this, the three people in front sneered. You want to defeat us? What a joke. Kid, I don't care what your identity is or how strong you are outside. In front of us, even if you're a dragon, you'll have to lie down. I said that I'm going in. If you want to attack me, go ahead. Don't hold back. If I'm killed, it means that I'm inferior. While they were talking, Lin Xian had already arrived in front of the three people. It seemed that he really wanted to pass. Courting death, one of the three people's face darkened. He was wearing a purple Taoist robe and had short hair. At this moment, there was a trace of extremely cold, killing intent in his long and narrow eyes. I'll fulfill your wish. He stretched out a finger that shone brightly. It was as if a divine sword had pierced over. With one strike, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Vast laws spread out. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were terrified. It was so terrifying. It seemed that the three of them had held back previously. Now that they were going to kill, no one could stop them. Lin Xian was in danger. Yes, no matter how strong he was, he could defeat the geniuses outside. However, he had no chance of winning against the people of the void. Some of the older generation figures shook their heads and sighed. He was too reckless. It was useless to retreat now. They had heard some legends about the void land. The people there were very mysterious. Chapter 4365. With a single finger, the wind and clouds changed. Qin Xianer, Guan Sanghai, and the others were stunned. Wan Jianyi, who was at the back, was shocked. Then he sneered. This was great. Lin Xian didn't know what was good for him. This attack might be able to finish him off. This way, he could take revenge indirectly. Lin Xian's expression turned grave when he sensed the power. Although he did not know who the other party was, the aura was too terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the chaotic sword light. He did not dare to be careless. He activated his divine body to the extreme and shot out a sharp sword qi with the aura of the dragon soul. It was like a giant dragon roaring. Clang! The two collided in the air and sparks flew. The earth-shattering power almost made people faint. The short-haired young man's pupils shrank. Did he block it? It was unbelievable. One should know that hundreds of experts could not even block one of their attacks. Now, this person could block his attack. Interesting, no wonder you are so arrogant. But you have completely angered me. So, you will definitely die. An extremely terrifying aura spread out from his body, making everyone's hair stand on end. The short-haired young man opened his 5 fingers and formed a huge palm, slapping forward. On the palm, there was an illusion of a heavenly steel, as if it had crossed time and space. A burst of pressure suppressed everything. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding people felt as if their bones were about to break. Even Lin Xian's body let out a roar, as if he had been hit by a huge impact. Humph! Go to hell, kid. The short-haired young man sneered. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. A sharp sword, intent, appeared in his hand, as if it was going to pierce through the 9 heavens. The shocking sword light turned into a sword shadow and slashed out. Boom! With one slash, the heavenly steel was split in half. Not only that, the short-haired young man was sent flying, spitting out blood. His body was almost split in half. How could it be? Everyone was stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. Even the 2 companions were stunned. The injured young man widened his eyes in disbelief. The next moment, he roared crazily, "You lowly ant, how dare you hurt me? I'll kill you!" An even more terrifying aura surged from his body. It seemed like he was about to attack again. However, Lin Xian's figure flickered and appeared in front of him in an instant. Then, with a wave of his hand, a Taiji diagram appeared and blasted the other party away. With a boom, the area in front of him exploded. A Taiji diagram enveloped the other party. "Damn it, how dare you!" His other 2 companions also regained their senses and roared crazily. When they saw the scene in front of them, they couldn't believe it. Their companions had actually been suppressed by the other party. "Release our men and kneel down to die. We will give you a quick death." At the same time, release your 2 companions. Otherwise, you and your 2 companions will suffer a fate worse than death today. "Just the 2 of you?" Lin Xian turned his head with a look of disdain. "Your companion is in my hands. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill him?" The 2 of them sneered. "Kid, would you dare to do that, even if you had 10 guts? Don't you know who we are? Let me tell you, we are the Immortal Guardian Clan. We are existences that were placed in this world by the immortals. How dare you attack us? I'm afraid you won't be able to survive in this world." The 2 of them had endless arrogance in their eyes. The surrounding people were stunned. What? Left behind by the immortals? Heavens, are there really immortals in this world? They were all stunned, because it was said that even the great emperors couldn't become immortals. Lin Xian was also shocked when he heard that. They had such a big background. No wonder they were so arrogant when facing the great emperor family. However, were there really immortals in this world? He didn't believe it either. So he snorted coldly. "What Immortal Guardian Clan? I've never heard of it. Let me in now, and I'll release your companions. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." A hint of coldness appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. "You're courting death." The 2 of them were enraged. "Attack!" Extremely terrifying auras appeared on their bodies. They were about to attack. However, at this moment, a stream of light flew past in the distance and landed in front of them. Then he strode towards the void in front of him. The people around them were all stunned. Who is this person? The 2 of them were also furious. Why are there so many people today? Are they challenging them one after another? It seemed that they had to kill a few of them to intimidate them. Lin Xian turned to look as well, and was stunned by what he saw. "It's you." The person who came was actually Chao Tianxing. Chao Tianxing arrived and looked at Lin Xian in shock. "You actually dared to attack them?" "That's right. You're a person abandoned by the heavens. You don't need to show mercy to them." Chao Tianxing smiled. Then he took out a token and said, "I should be qualified to enter." The 2 of them originally wanted to be angry, but when they saw the token, their expressions changed. Then they gritted their teeth and said, "Go in." "But you can't save this kid," Chao Tianxing said. "He doesn't need me to save him." He ignored them. Instead, he looked at Lin Xian and said, "I'll wait for you inside." After saying that, Chao Tianxing also went in. The surrounding people were all stunned. Another person had gone in. What exactly was the token that the other party had taken out? They didn't know. Therefore, for a moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian again. "Are you a person abandoned by the heavens? You're even less qualified to enter." The 2 of them roared and attacked. Lin Xian's face darkened. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. He had already shown mercy previously. In that case, he waved the Tai Chi diagram and directly turned the person who was pressurized into a bloody mist. Then he threw a punch. With a bang, he collided with the palm of one of them. Then the 10 extinction swords with the aura of the dragon's soul erupted and collided with the other person. Boom. There was an earth-shattering collision. The vast power caused the entire world to tremble. Countless cracks had appeared in the surroundings. However, the void was completely undamaged. Obviously, this was a very mysterious place. The two of them were sent flying. One of them spat out a mouthful of blood. The other person's face was filled with terror because one of his arms was cut off and couldn't be healed. Lowly ant, you'll regret everything you've done. The two of them from the Immortal Guardian clan roared crazily. The person who was beaten into a bloody mist also fled into the distance. His body couldn't be fused at the moment. The deities were incomparably terrified. Damn it, what's going on? The enemy is actually stronger than us. One had to know that they were from the Immortal Guardian clan and had been cultivating in the void all year round. Who could be stronger than them? If the two of them didn't have tokens, they definitely wouldn't have let them in. Chapter 4366. This kid is too weird. Lin Xian's expression was cold. The power of the dragon sword's soul erupted like a god of war. The Taiji diagram then turned into a world and flew towards the three people in front of him. The three of them tried their best to dodge, but they were still suppressed. The three of them were terrified, but there was nothing they could do. Lin Xian, on the other hand, walked inside. At that moment, a few more figures walked over from afar. What's going on? This time, 5 people walked over, led by a man who walked with a majestic gait. When he arrived, he immediately frowned. His 3 companions had actually been suppressed by someone. Who is it? Did someone bring a Sage King's weapon here? In the next moment, they stared at Lin Xian. Is it you? These people's expressions were extremely strange. It shouldn't be. Is this kid so strong? The 3 people who were suppressed said, Brother, be careful. This kid is very strange. Kill him. He actually dares to injure us. The 3 of them roared crazily. When the young man in front heard this, his face turned cold. Attack. With a roar, the 4 people behind him instantly moved. 4 divine steels appeared in their palms. With a desolate aura, they suppressed the sky and the earth. Between heaven and earth, there was a shattering sound. The place where Lin Xian was completely enveloped. The Taiji diagram spun continuously to resist. Lin Xian, on the other hand, waved his sword again. The dragon roared, and the sword was vast and mighty. The divine steels were sent flying, and the 4 of them vomited blood. Lin Xian was incomparably powerful. He directly charged towards the young man in the lead. So strong. He did not expect the person in front of him to be so terrifying. The young man in the lead was instantly enraged. His body shone like stars. Then many runes appeared around him. He channeled his power to the extreme. A saber light slashed out. The young man in the lead was much stronger than the others. However, compared to Lin Xian's dragon sword soul, it was still not enough. After 10 moves, he was directly sent flying. The Taiji diagram spun and suppressed all of them. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. They could not believe it. As for the people from the Immortal Guardian clan, their faces were filled with fear. This was something that they had never encountered in their entire lives. In their eyes, their Immortal Guardian clan was high up above. Even if they were Emperor clans, they still carried a hint of arrogance. Not to mention the others. In their eyes, they were all ant-like existences. However, at that moment, the ants in their eyes were actually so powerful that they were able to suppress over a dozen of them. Being high and mighty, and having the corresponding strength, I'm afraid that you guys won't be able to achieve this. Lin Xian looked at these people and sneered with contempt in his eyes. This made these people vomit blood in anger. These people madly roared and threatened, but it was useless. Lin Xian turned around and waved at Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer. "Let's go together." The two of them took a deep breath and followed him. Then, the three of them walked inside. The surrounding people looked at each other. Many of them even wanted to take action, because this was the best opportunity. No one stopped them anymore. However, those older generation figures did remind them that the immortal guardian clan was related to immortals, and no one dared to provoke them. If they went in now, they would be courting death. When the others heard this, they stopped in their tracks and could only watch from the outside. In their eyes, even if Lin Xian and the other two entered, they would probably die without a doubt. Lin Xian didn't care about this. His goal was obvious. He wanted to come to the void and find power that could help him improve. Behind them, Qin Xianer asked if there were really immortals in this world. Guan Songhai shook his head. He didn't know. However, these people's attitudes were so strong that they didn't even care about the emperor clans. One could imagine that their identities were very likely to be extraordinary. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He was someone who had been abandoned by immortals. Why would he be afraid of a mere immortal guardian clan? The three of them moved very quickly and walked all the way inside. Soon, a magical scene appeared inside. The landscape here was very primitive, as if it was a primordial era. There were many people standing in front. It seemed like they were waiting for something. At this moment, when they heard footsteps behind them, the people in front also turned their heads. In their eyes, it should be the people who had gone to patrol before returning. However, when they saw Lin Xian and the other two, they were stunned. What's going on? What's going on with this guy? Gu Feng's pupils constricted. The Alcade Saint also revealed a look of surprise. However, the corners of Chao Tianxing's mouth curled up into a smile. In addition, there were some people who looked over. Some of their faces were familiar, and some were very unfamiliar. These people's gazes fell on Lin Xian and the other two. Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer immediately felt the pressure. That was because none of the people here were weaker than them. They were all extremely terrifying existences. Lin Xian didn't care. He looked around and greeted Chao Tianxing. Then he looked at the others. Gu Feng, the Alcade Saint, and the others naturally didn't need to be mentioned. He had known them for a long time. However, he also knew some of the other people. He had only met them once. They were the few people he had seen in the primordial grotto previously. At that time, they had sat beside the reincarnation protector. They should have been with Han Chong. This meant that these people should have come from the buried Emperor Star. No wonder they could come here. At the same time, he also understood why the people from the Immortal Guardian clan said that the number of people was full. It seemed that the people from the buried Emperor Star wanted to monopolize this place and didn't want the people from the true spirit world to come. If it wasn't for Gu Feng's identity as an Emperor clan member, he wouldn't have been able to come here. The people from the buried Emperor Star were truly tyrannical. Han Chong and the others also turned their heads. When they saw Lin Xian and the other two, they were also shocked. It was actually that brat. They cried out in alarm. Another person asked, Han Chong, who is he? Do you know him? Which paradise is he from? No, his origin is different from ours. He's from the second star realm, Holy City. Hearing this, contempt appeared in the eyes of those people. Holy City? They really didn't put it in their eyes. One of them sneered. How could such a person be qualified to come here? The people from the Immortal Guardian clan also frowned. Someone walked over and said, Who let you three in? Do you have a token? Are you from the Emperor clan? Hearing this, Gu Feng also sneered. Lin Xian said, No need to ask. I don't have a token, and I'm not from the Emperor clan. I fought my way in. Those people outside have already been suppressed by me. What? As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were stunned. Even the people from the buried Emperor's star were stunned. Fought his way in. This brat really dared to say that. Does he know where this place is? Chapter 4367. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were stunned. You dare to attack our people? Are you tired of living? These people were emitting cold killing intent. Guan Songhai looked as if he was facing a great enemy. Lin Xian laughed. Those people from before had the same attitude towards me. They were all suppressed by me. If you want to attack, go ahead. If I'm killed, it's because I'm inferior. But if you're suppressed by me, you'll regret attacking me. You're courting death? You think you're qualified to say that? One of them rushed over and struck out with his palm, demon-subduing palm. With a roar, a terrifying palm that could suppress 10,000 demons came crashing down. However, it was slashed apart by Lin Xian's sword. That person's body was slashed in half, and he roared crazily. Lin Xian's eyes were emitting a terrifying killing intent. He said, "Since I'm here, I've made preparations. Either you accept our existence and let us see the secrets of the nothingness, or you can attack us. I don't mind causing a ruckus here, but if you destroy anything in the nothingness, don't blame me." Lin Xian was abnormally strong. His words seemed to have suppressed the people around him. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan had ugly expressions. Damn it, this guy actually dares to behave so atrociously in our territory. One must know that even the people from the Emperor clans and the people from the buried Emperor's star follow the rules here. However, this guy was too arrogant. Kill him, tear him into pieces. Let everyone know the consequences of being arrogant in the nothingness. However, at this moment, two figures walked over from afar. It was a man and a woman. Their auras were even more mysterious. It was obvious that their status was not ordinary. Seeing this scene, the people from the Immortal Guardian clan turned their heads and looked over. The man said coldly, "All right, stop it." However, the other people wanted to say something, but the man's face sank. "What? You don't even want to listen to me?" "Yes, we know." The people from the Immortal Guardian clan became incomparably respectful. Then they looked at Lin Xian and the other two. "Brat, your luck is very good. This time I'll make an exception and let you stay here. However, you better behave yourself. If you dare to be arrogant again, don't blame us for being rude." Lin Xian was also stunned. He didn't expect the other party to not make a move. He raised his head and looked at the man and woman in the distance with a puzzled expression. The auras of these two people were indeed strong. After the two mysterious people finished speaking, they left and did not come down. For a moment, the surroundings became incomparably quiet. Lin Xian and the other two started to look around curiously. Further ahead, there was a huge canyon. No one knew where it led to, but at this moment, everyone was looking at the canyon. It was obvious that the secret of the void lands lay in this canyon. However, these people were all waiting and did not enter. He didn't know why. Lin Xian waited for a while before walking forward. He felt that the aura coming from the canyon was becoming more and more mysterious, and there were even some that were extremely familiar. This made him extremely surprised. "I don't know. What is it?" Therefore, he decided to go over and take a look. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. "Kid, what are you trying to do?" The person from the Immortal Guardian clan walked over again and said coldly, "Who allowed you to go in? Wait here. Can't you see that the others don't dare to move?" Lin Xian frowned. "This canyon is so big. It shouldn't be a problem for one or two people to go in, right? Why? Do you dare to stop me? Do you know what kind of person is meditating inside? Do you think you can disturb such a person? If you go in and disturb him, I'm afraid you'll suffer a fate worse than death." Therefore, if you know what's good for you, listen to us and stand here obediently. We're doing this for your own good. Lin Xian frowned. Is that so? What kind of person is so powerful? I really want to see. With that, Lin Xian walked forward. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were completely enraged. Damn it, do you really think that we don't dare to attack you? Previously, they didn't attack Lin Xian because the genius from the Immortal Guardian clan had spoken up, but now, this kid in front of them was being so arrogant. It really made them furious. Therefore, someone immediately attacked. With a slap, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A flood surged towards Lin Xian. It was as if the entire ocean had descended. Lin Xian was unfazed. He flung his palm forward, unleashing a boundless divine flame, which completely suppressed the surging flood. Then he grabbed forward. The 5 elemental laws flew out and formed a 5-elemental mountain, directly suppressing the other party. The surrounding people were all stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He suppressed their companion with a single move. No wonder he could enter so domineeringly. Lin Xian's figure was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived at the edge of the canyon. However, at this moment, someone attacked again. Stop. Our people are meditating inside. Do you dare to attack us? The person who spoke was a man. His eyes were also filled with a disdainful aura. He was sitting together with Han Chong and the others. Obviously, he was from the buried Emperor's star. After Lin Xian heard this, he also turned his head. The blue-robed figure said, "You should know who we are. What do you think the consequences of offending us will be? Are you trying to stop me? I've long heard that the people from the buried Emperor's star are very strong. However, I haven't had the chance to fight. Now, I don't mind fighting." Lin Xian's eyes also blossomed with a cold light. He felt that there was an even greater call from inside. Obviously, there was something inside that was very suitable for him. Therefore, he had to enter. Do you really think you can be so arrogant? Do you really think you can be so arrogant? Previously, we didn't attack you because we were giving face to the Immortal Guardian clan. Now that you're acting so recklessly, it seems that I have to take action. He walked out, and there were 6 stars revolving around his palm. A desolate aura covered the sky and earth. It was as if his palm had turned into the universe. Boom! With a slap, the sky shook. Qin Xiener and the others' expressions changed. This was too powerful. Was this the strength of the people from the buried Emperor's star? Lin Xian waved his hand, and the 10 absolute sword formation revolved around him. Terrifying sword chi also rushed over. It collided with the 6 stars of the opponent. Large patches of the void were torn apart as boundless power swept out in all directions. How could a mere star dare to compete with the sun? Lin Xian coldly snorted, and the 9 yang divine body blossomed with light. Like a peerless sun, it shone in all directions, causing the stars to become dim. Damn it! The blue-robed figure from the buried Emperor's star was thoroughly enraged. With a loud roar, the 6 stars on his body became even more terrifying. They joined together as if they had turned into a small universe and quickly rushed over. Lin Xian's eyes blossomed with a golden light that could see through everything. It was only so. It was over. The corner of his mouth rose into a smile. At the same time, the 10 absolute sword formation erupted once again. The surrounding people were shocked. Chapter 4368. Can it end now? What a joke. Especially those people from the buried Emperor's star. They were filled with disdain. So what if the other party was strong? Could he compete with them? They did not believe it. When the blue-clothed man who attacked heard this, his face turned gloomy. He roared angrily and charged over once again. His body blossomed with a terrifying light, and the entire world started to shake. However, Lin Xian's expression was ice-cold. He coldly snorted. The people from the buried Emperor Star were only SOSO. After saying that, he formed a seal with his palm and slapped forward. Boom. The man-ruler seal slapped forward. Terrifying light swept out in all directions. At that moment, everyone's expression changed. In fact, there was even a deep and low voice that sounded from the canyon. It was as if a god was roaring. The surroundings started to crumble. What's going on? At this moment, everyone's expression changed. Even those people from the Immortal Guardian clan narrowed their eyes. Such a scene had never happened before. What exactly did this brat do? Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. This aura seemed to be related to his man-ruler seal. It seemed that there was indeed something in this canyon. He had to go in. The blue-clothed man from the buried Emperor Star was sent flying by the palm. Many large cracks appeared on his body. Was he injured? The people from the buried Emperor Star exclaimed. They found it hard to believe. Lin Xian was incomparably powerful. The man-ruler seal in his hand was even more terrifying. Who would dare to attack again? The cold voice resounded in all directions. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Especially in the canyon, there was a voice. This made everyone worried. If they were to fight here, would it affect the people who were comprehending inside? Therefore, the people from the buried Emperor Star did not attack again. Don't attack. If you affect the others, it will be very troublesome. So, let this kid go in first. Wait for our people to finish comprehending. At that time, we will kill him. None of the surrounding people dared to make a move. Even the people of the Immortal Guardian race were stunned. Lin Xian brought Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai. The three of them once again walked into the canyon. After entering, they felt a mysterious aura enveloping them. This place is too unusual. Qin Xianer exclaimed. There was someone ahead. Guan Songhai was also surprised. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as well. There were indeed 3 people in front of them. The 3 of them stood at different positions in the canyon and began to comprehend. What are they looking at? Qin Xianer was shocked. Lin Xian said, they probably won't dare to do anything in this canyon. So we are safe here? Everyone start comprehending. As he spoke, he took a deep breath as his eyes shone with a cold light. He began to look around. Gradually, he felt a strange change in his surroundings. It was as if he was no longer in a canyon, but a vast expanse of land. A deafening voice could be heard coming from the front. What is that? Lin Xian was stunned. He discovered that there was actually a huge battle taking place in front of him. Furthermore, the battle was so terrifying that it was simply unimaginable. Suddenly, he saw the entire world shatter as a palm slammed down. The aura carried by that palm was too terrifying. It was like the seal of heaven and earth, causing his hair to stand on end. At the same time, Lin Xian was even more shocked. That was the man-ruler seal. He was too shocked. He discovered that one of the 2 parties in this battle was actually using the man-ruler seal. He was too shocked. He did not expect to see the man-ruler seal here. Moreover, it was used by such a peerless expert. He had once heard from the unparalleled Sage King that a battle was recorded in this void. It was a battle between 2 peerless experts 100,000 years ago. Now it seemed that the peerless expert from back then was actually able to use the man-ruler seal. Perhaps the man-ruler seal that he obtained was left behind by this peerless expert. A huge seal of heaven and earth descended from the sky with an unparalleled domineering aura. However, the opponent was equally terrifying. He was not a weakling. Facing such a terrifying seal, the figure was surrounded by multicolored light. True scriptures appeared, and then endless light condensed into a sword light. It directly pierced through the void. This attack was really too powerful. The aura that it carried was not any weaker than the man-ruler seal. It was as if it could destroy the 9 heavens. What kind of sword technique was this? Lin Xian was also surprised. He was an expert in the way of the sword, and he even had the great dragon sword soul. At this moment, when he saw this shocking sword, he was also shocked. The battle between the two was really too powerful. Not long after, Lin Xian felt that he was under tremendous pressure. Even his body was about to crack. Buzz. The next moment he was blasted back, his face pale. The surrounding scene also disappeared. On the other side, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were also pale. Their eyes were filled with deep shock. Lin Xian, I saw it. There is a shocking battle, Qin Xianer exclaimed. Lin Xian nodded his head in agreement. I'm guessing that the distance here is related to the distance from the battlefield. The closer to the canyon, the closer the distance to watch the battle, and the stronger the pressure. In an instant, they understood the rules here. Guan Songhai gasped, "We are quite far from the canyon, and it is already so terrifying. I wonder how the three people in front of us are enduring it." They looked over curiously. The three people's auras were also extraordinary, but they were obviously different. Two people came from the same place, and the other person's aura was very similar to the people from the Immortal Guardian clan outside. Among the three people, one was an expert from the Immortal Guardian clan, and the other two were from the Buried Emperor's Star. Among the three people, a woman was the furthest away. She stood there and sat down cross-legged. Her body was shaking, but she was still able to endure. The other two people were pale, and sweat flowed down their faces. It was clear that they had endured a great deal of pressure to reach this step. This is a rare opportunity, so we have to quickly comprehend it, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai also nodded. Next, the three of them began to comprehend. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai could naturally see the scene of the battle. However, it was almost impossible for them to cultivate the human ruler's seal. They could only comprehend it from the battle between the two experts. It was probably not only them, but the others were also the same. The only one who could cultivate the human ruler's seal and strengthen it was Lin Xian, because Lin Xian had obtained the inheritance imprint of the human ruler's seal. He was able to do so. Otherwise, he would not have been able to cultivate it. Lin Xian's goal this time was to strengthen and perfect his human ruler's seal. Although he had obtained the inheritance imprint, he was still far from being able to compare to the battle figure from 100,000 years ago. Now that there was such an expert who could use it countless times in front of him, how could he miss such an opportunity? Thus, Lin Xian forgot about everything else and focused all his attention on the battle. Of course, apart from the human ruler's seal, there was also that shocking sword. Lin Xian also did not miss it. Chapter 4369. One day later, Lin Xian opened his eyes and walked a few steps forward before sitting down cross-legged again. Then his figure appeared in the battle image from 100,000 years ago. However, this time, the distance was even closer. Just like this, every 2 days, Lin Xian would take a few steps forward. 10 days later, Lin Xian had already surpassed the previous figure. Previously, there were 3 people sitting cross-legged there. At this moment, he had already surpassed one of them. There were still 2 people in front of him. Hui Yu felt that extremely terrifying power and immediately opened his eyes. Then, sweat flowed down his face. So terrifying. As expected of a peerless expert, it had been 100,000 years, but he was still so terrifying. This place was truly too mystical. Even though he came from the Buried Emperor's Star, he had to admit that this place made him feel incomparably mysterious. However, in the next moment, his pupils shrank. What's going on? Why was there another person in front of him? He recognized the 2 people in front of him. However, at this moment, a third figure had appeared and was standing in front of him. Someone had surpassed him. Who was it? Was it his companion? However, that figure was extremely unfamiliar to him. He even wanted to see the other party's face clearly. However, he knew that although he was not far away, these few steps were extremely difficult to cross. Damn it, who was it? He was too shocked. Could it be that there were other experts from the Immortal Guardian clan who had entered? That should be the case. He guessed that only the people from the Immortal Guardian clan could surpass him. After all, this group of people had the opportunity to come here to comprehend from the moment they were born. However, even if it was someone from the Immortal Guardian clan, Huiyu was not willing to accept it. He decided to surpass the other party. In the next moment, he closed his eyes and started comprehending again. Not long after he closed his eyes, Lin Xian opened his eyes again and continued walking forward. Soon, he surpassed the second person who had come before him. At this moment, the second person opened his eyes. His face had also become pale. He did not even have the strength to stand up. At this moment, he was stunned. He discovered that someone had surpassed him. Who was it? Was it that guy from the buried Emperor Star? Jing Si suddenly turned his head and discovered that Huiyu was still there. Then who was this person? He only took a quick glance and realized that Lin Xian was a stranger. He had never seen him before. This meant that they were not from the Immortal Guardian clan. They should be people from the buried Emperor Star? Had another expert from the buried Emperor Star come? Damn it, this guy was actually so strong that he could surpass him. He gritted his teeth and quickly swallowed a medicinal pill to recover his aura. He was ready to give chase again. Lin Xian, on the other hand, completely ignored the two of them. At this moment, he was completely stunned. This was because he realized that as he moved forward and got closer to the battlefield, he could feel that the battle ahead was also changing. Apart from that heaven-shaking sword strike, Ting-Ing, these two experts had also used two more ultimate moves. A figure stood in front of him like a sword god. His cold voice resounded throughout the world. The man-ruler seal was indeed worthy of being an ultimate technique passed down from ancient times. He was indeed strong. On the other side, the battle godlike figure also said, "Your invincible sword is also incomparably terrifying. Although you didn't succeed in obtaining the great dragon sword, your strength is enough to shock me." After Lin Xian heard this, he was too shocked. At this distance, he could actually hear the conversation between the two. It turned out that the heaven-shaking sword was called the invincible move. What was even more shocking was that this sword expert had once wanted to obtain the great dragon sword soul. However, he had failed. He knew that the great dragon sword soul was incomparably powerful. Those who could obtain it were all the strongest people in the world. He could be considered to be heaven-defying luck to be able to obtain it. He didn't expect that the two peerless experts he met were actually related to him. At this moment, the peerless sword expert in front of him spoke again. "Apart from the invincible sword, I have a few more moves. You should also experience them." "Is that so?" "Of the 4 ancient seals, apart from the man-ruler seal, I happen to know one more move. Why don't you experience it as well?" The battle godlike figure also spoke in a deep voice. In the next moment, the aura of the two people changed again. The peerless sword saint's body carried an extremely terrifying aura. It changed from the previous invincible power to an undying and indestructible appearance. It was as if it could last forever. This move was called indestructible. With a slash of the sword, heaven and earth lost their luster. On the other side, the battle godlike expert also formed a seal with his palms. However, it was no longer the man-ruler seal, but another kind of seal. Within his hand seal, a mountain appeared and began to grow in size. It was like a mountain from the ancient times. The aura on it was too terrifying. It directly pressed down and suppressed all things. This was the mountain-embracing seal. It was another 2 great techniques. It was incomparably sonorous, and it kept shaking between heaven and earth. In the next moment, everything in front of him could not be seen. Lin Xian took a step back, and his face turned pale. He suddenly opened his eyes. It was so terrifying. An extremely cold light bloomed in his eyes. He didn't expect that the man-ruler seal was only one of the 4 ancient seals. In addition, there was also the mountain-embracing seal. He must learn it. In addition, he also wanted to obtain the invincible move and the indestructible move. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath and operated his physique to the extreme. Then, he took a few more steps forward. Damn it, how was this possible? When Jing Ci saw this scene, his face became incomparably ugly. It was already very difficult for him to take a step forward, but the other party was still able to take 2 steps in a row. Damn it, how did this guy do it? And behind him, Wang Yue spat out a mouthful of old blood. He forced himself to walk forward. In the end, he was injured and had no choice but to retreat. However, right at this moment, the mysterious figure at the front stood up. She was a woman with her back facing everyone. At this moment, she took 3 more steps forward and sat down cross-legged again. Even Lin Xian was surprised by the scene before him. Just who was this person? He was not in a hurry. He believed that given time, he would definitely surpass the other party. Next, Lin Xian began to comprehend the 4 techniques in the illusion from 100,000 years ago. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. 2 months had passed. In the first month, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai could not stand it anymore. They could not continue to comprehend. Otherwise, their bodies and souls would be shattered. Therefore, they could only leave the canyon. However, fortunately, the people of the Immortal Guardian clan outside did not attack them. This allowed the 2 of them to breathe a sigh of relief. Although now their faces were pale, and they were even a little injured, they were still very happy. This was because the comprehension in the previous month had allowed them to gain a lot. Although there was no increase in their cultivation, the application and performance of their divine abilities were definitely better than before. Chapter 4370. After the 2 of them came out, more people went in. Later, even Hui Yue had no choice but to come out. Han Chong and the others came out and asked, "How was it?" Hui Yue said, "I gained a lot. However, there was a despicable guy who surpassed me. I don't know who he is." When these words were said, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. Could it be that guy? They thought of Lin Xian. Because Lin Xian did not appear from beginning to end. It was impossible. These people's expressions became unsightly. Next, more and more people went in to comprehend. After all, because of the strength of the buried Emperor's star, others were not allowed to enter. Now that Hui Yue had come out, others could also enter. Chao, Tiansheng, Gu Feng, and the geniuses of the Gu family all entered one after another to comprehend. When they saw the battle from 100,000 years ago, they were incomparably shocked. Then, they all focused on comprehending. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Among them, many people had already come out. Only 5 people were left inside. In addition to the mysterious woman at the front, there was Lin Xian, Gu Feng, Chao Tiansheng, and another person from the Immortal Guardian clan. Lin Xian continued to advance. He was very close to the mysterious woman. He was only a step away. In the next moment, he closed his eyes and began to comprehend again. This time, he discovered that a figure had appeared in the battle in front of him. It was the mysterious woman. He was actually able to see her in the battle. It was truly inconceivable. During this period of time, Lin Xian had been comprehending the battle scene. He even used the heavenly secret divine eyes to imprint the scene in his mind as much as possible. The man-ruler seal had become even more terrifying after he comprehended it. The power of the man-ruler seal had far surpassed before. Although the mountain-embracing seal was mysterious and unfamiliar, it was still one of the 4 immemorial seals. Therefore, he had an innate advantage when cultivating it. As for the unrivaled form and imperishable form, they were extremely terrifying sword techniques. Lin Xian had also comprehended them deeply. After all, the other party had almost obtained the Great Dragon Sword Soul, while he was the owner of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Therefore, with his talent and the Great Dragon Sword Soul, it was not impossible for him to comprehend these 2 moves. Just like that, another 5 days passed. This time, Lin Xian finally took a step forward and stood shoulder to shoulder with the mysterious woman. Finally, he could see who the other party was. Lin Xian turned his head and looked over. In the next instant, the mysterious woman revealed a look of astonishment. He turned his head to look at her. To be honest, she didn't believe that anyone could reach her level. Their gazes clashed in the air, causing the void to shatter. Then, both of them revealed looks of surprise. "It's you." "It's you." 2 voices sounded at the same time. Lin Xian was stunned. He knew this person. It was Yan Ruyu. Yan Ruyu was also stunned. She didn't expect it to be Lin Xian. Then, a smile appeared on her face. It was really surprising, but thinking about it, it made sense. There aren't many who can stand shoulder to shoulder with me, and you're one of them. Lin Xian was speechless. He was truly confident. He was already arrogant enough, but he realized that the other party's words were even more arrogant and domineering. "Why are you here? Could it be that you've already entered the buried Emperor's Star?" Lin Xian asked. Yan Ryu nodded. "That's right. I went in earlier than you. Now that I've returned, I'm here specifically for the Eternal Lands. You haven't entered the buried Emperor's Star?" She was also surprised. Lin Xian said, "Not yet. However, I've already obtained the qualifications to enter the buried Emperor's Star. I estimate that I'll be able to enter in a few months. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what kind of expression those fellows in the buried Emperor's Star will have when they see you. I think that you'll stir up a storm in the buried Emperor's Star. Am I that kind of person?" Lin Xian smiled. However, thinking about it, he was afraid that it was true. After this group of people entered the buried Emperor's Star, they would definitely stir up a new storm. "All right, I don't have much time. I can't comprehend it for a long time. So let's meet again in the buried Emperor's Star." Yan Ryu also nodded. "All right, after you go to the buried Emperor's Star, come to the Demon Emperor Mountain to find me." "Oh, right, let me tell you something. There's more than one Eternal Lands. If you have the opportunity in the future, you can find a few more." Lin Xian nodded and did not say anything else. He memorized this information in his heart and then comprehended it with all his might. 10 days later, he left. Indeed, he did not have much time because he still had to go to the buried Emperor's Star. If he missed this opportunity, who knows how many 100 years he would have to wait. This time, Lin Xian's harvest could be said to be enormous. Apart from the man-ruler seal becoming even more powerful, he also obtained several other treasures. Apart from that, he obtained 3 divine abilities: Mountain-Embracing Seal, Imperishable Form, Invincible Form. Apart from this, he also met an old friend, Yan Ruyu. He also obtained some information regarding the buried Emperor's Star. What surprised him the most was that Han Chong and the others that he had heard before were all from the paradise. Yan Ruyu came from the Demon Emperor Mountain. Thinking about it, the buried Emperor's Star situation should be even more complicated. Furthermore, it was said that it had connections with many clans and sacred grounds in the true spirit world. Just as Lin Xian left at the same time in the core area of the Immortal Guardian clan's Void Land, an old man opened his eyes. The surrounding people were unceasingly kneeling and kowtowing. "Greetings, clan head." This old man was the Immortal Guardian clan's clan head. At this moment, He woke up from his cultivation and asked in a deep voice, "Is everything all right? Nothing happened, right?" He was just asking because he believed that no one would dare to behave atrociously in their territory. However, this time, a middle-aged man said, Clan head, something did happen." "Oh, what happened?" The old man was surprised. "It's like this. There was a person who did not have the qualifications to enter. However, he was extremely powerful and directly suppressed over 10 of our disciples. Then he came in forcefully and even entered the Eternal Canyon ahead. There was actually such a thing. The Immortal Guardian Clan's clan head immediately frowned. "You didn't make a move?" The surrounding people said. "We all wanted to make a move. However, that kid's speed was too fast. From fighting to suppressing him, it only took him over 10 moves. Furthermore, at that time, we were right outside the Eternal Canyon. We were afraid that a fight would affect the canyon. Thus, we did not dare to rashly make a move. By the time we were preparing to dispatch experts, we discovered that the kid had already entered the Eternal Canyon. Furthermore, at this time, another person said that our disciples said that the kid seemed to be someone who was abandoned by the Immortal Realm." Hearing this, the old man from the Immortal Guardian Clan stood up. "What? Someone who was abandoned by the Immortal Realm? In that case, he could not be allowed to live. You all can handle this matter." "Yes, clan head. Rest assured, we will definitely handle this properly." As for the elders below, they all left. Chapter 4371. After coming out, a purple-haired elder said coldly, "Follow me." "Has that person come out yet?" "Elder, he hasn't come out yet. However, his 2 companions have already come out." "All right, let's capture his 2 companions first. I want to see if he will escape or not." Soon, the people from the Immortal Guardian Clan moved out. Although Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer's strength had increased greatly, they were still outnumbered. Soon, they were suppressed. Lin Xian did not know about this. When he came out, he narrowed his eyes. He wondered how Xian and Songhai were doing. Did they obtain any good fortune? He came out and was about to ask. However, he realized that the 2 of them were not there. What's going on? The 2 of them were definitely not in the canyon. However, they were not outside the canyon. Could it be that they had left in advance? Impossible! Lin Xian shook his head. Unless there was something special going on, the 2 of them would not have left without saying a word. Damn it, could it be that the people from the buried Emperor's Star or the Immortal Guardian Clan had made a move? When the surrounding people saw Lin Xian come out, they also had a cold look. At this moment, the void in front of him fluctuated, and a few figures walked out. "You should be the person who was abandoned by the Immortals, right? How dare you come here without permission? Kneel down obediently and come with us." Lin Xian's face was also cold. He asked, "Did you capture my 2 companions?" "Brat, you can't even protect yourself. Why are you still in the mood to care about others?" The people from the Immortal Guardian Clan sneered. This time, it was not only the young geniuses but also the older generation. Their eyes were filled with disdain. So what if he's strong? Can he beat the young disciples? Can he beat the older generation experts? Boom! Lin Xian's eyes exploded with a cold light. "You dare to touch the people around me? Looks like you don't know what's good for you." As he spoke, he slapped out with his palm, "You're courting death." The people on the other side were furious when they saw this scene. One of them clenched his fist and punched out, colliding with Lin Xian's man-ruler seal. Earlier, his eyes were filled with disdain. However, when the 2 of them collided, his expression changed. Not good. How could this power be so terrifying? With a cracking sound, his entire arm was broken. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. His face was extremely pale. How could this be? The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the Celestial Guardian Clan narrowed their eyes. Their opponent was actually so strong. Let's attack together. The other three experts of the older generation moved out quickly. The laws on their bodies surged out, turning into extremely terrifying palms that slammed over. Lin Xian could see that it was an imitation of the man-ruler seal. However, the difference was too great. These people had not obtained the inheritance of the human ruler's seal, nor did they have the great dragon sword spirit. Therefore, the power that they could display was not even 1 in 10,000. How could they contend against the true human ruler's seal? The next moment, he took a deep breath and displayed the true man-ruler's seal. With a loud boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The three of them were sent flying. The palms of the three were completely shattered. Their eyes were filled with deep fear. How could this be? How could their opponent be so strong? This was the human ruler seal. This guy's human ruler seal was even more terrifying than ours. The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the Celestial Guardian clan were even more shocked. They had been in the void all this time, so they could often comprehend the eternal battle inside. Naturally, they knew that there were extremely terrifying mystic skills inside, but no one could completely obtain them. They could only rely on their own comprehension to display them. Even so, it was not something that ordinary mystic skills could contend against. Now that the three of them had displayed that kind of giant palm, they thought that their opponent would definitely not be able to block it. However, who would have thought that their opponent's attack was even stronger than theirs? It was exactly the same as the one in the eternal battlefield. With another man-ruler seal, Lin Fan rushed forward and crushed his opponent. The three of them were beaten until they spat out blood, their faces filled with despair. Lin Xian stepped on the heads of these people and asked coldly, "Tell me, where are my two friends?" "Damn it, how dare you!" Before he could finish, Lin Xian kicked the body of one of them, causing it to explode. Then he stared at the second person. "Speak or not?" The second person's face turned extremely ugly. "I say, come with me." They were originally here to tell their opponent the news. However, they had been arrogant and thought that the three of them could kill their opponent. That was why they were in such a state. Now that they could not defeat their opponent, they would naturally lure their opponent over. After all, they had already set up an inescapable trap there. "Let's go." Lin Xian led the two of them and flew forward quickly. He had to save Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai. Soon he arrived at the front and saw Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai being suppressed by two huge mountains. Their faces were extremely pale. They even had injuries on their bodies. Instantly, Lin Xian's eyes emitted an incomparable, murderous intent. When the surrounding immortal guardian clans saw this scene, they also stood up. "Brat, you're here. Prepare to die." Boom. With a loud sound, Lin Xian smashed the two immortal guardian clan elders. The murderous intent on his body was incomparable. "How dare you attack my friends? Go to hell." The aura on his body became more and more terrifying. Then he slapped out, "Damn it! How dare you injure our people?" On the opposite side, the immortal guardian clan were also enraged when they saw this scene. They attacked crazily. In an instant, 6 figures charged over. The void was constantly shattering. Countless large cracks spread in all directions. They wanted to kill Lin Xian forcefully. However, after one attack, the 6 figures were forced back with fear in their eyes. Man-ruler seal. So strong. Could it be that he was so talented that he could comprehend to such a level in just a few months? Damn it! Kill. The immortal guardian clan people charged over once again. Lin Xian held the sword in his hand. Sword chi was condensed by him. Then, an invincible sword slashed down. The sky-piercing sword chi caused the heavens and earth to collapse. This sword seemed to be invincible. Instantly, Those people vomited blood and were sent flying. Their bodies were torn apart, too strong. Those young disciples' eyes were filled with despair. To be honest, they had always thought that they were high and mighty. They had never put the sacred city or sacred ground in their eyes. Perhaps only the people from the Emperor race and buried Emperor Star could make them take them seriously. But now a young man from the second astral realm was actually so strong. Not only did he make these young people feel despair, but even those of the older generation were beaten to the point that they could not fight back. It was really hard to believe. Chapter 4372. Lin Xian became more and more courageous as he fought. His expression was incomparably cold. Kill. With another cold shout, Lin Xian immediately split the two mountains apart with an invincible sword. He saved Qin Xiener and Guan Songhai. Are you all right? Lin Xian took out pills and gave them to the two of them. The two of them gritted their teeth and said with ugly expressions, they were fine, just a little injured. Damn it, these people were too despicable. Don't worry, I'll take you away. Lin Xian said. The surrounding people all charged forward, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. You want to leave here? How naive. I don't believe that you are truly invincible. Kill. More and more people rushed over. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold, killing intent as he formed a seal with his palms. A mountain appeared between heaven and earth, as if it had crossed the ancient primordial era and directly suppressed the world. The surrounding people were stunned in an instant. Their faces were filled with fear. Mountain embracing seal. This brat was actually able to unleash this divine ability. Catch him. He has secrets on him. Someone roared and tore through the void, arriving behind Lin Xian and quickly charging over. Lin Xian waved his sword Qi and swept in all directions. The 10 ultimate sword formation was activated, shattering everything. At the same time, he used the Tai Chi art. The Tai Chi art flew out and split the 6 figures apart. Boom. He used the mountain embracing seal again. Impossible. This time, even the elders were stunned. Using a peerless divine ability like the mountain embracing seal once had already consumed too much energy. His body couldn't withstand using it twice in a row. How did this kid do it? Lin Xian attacked forcefully and fought in all directions. Previously, the people of the Immortal Guardian clan were disdainful, but now they were really desperate. They realized that with so many of them, they might not be able to stop the other party. Go and get the patriarch. These people roared. Buzz. In the sky, a huge palm slapped over. Its power was boundless, carrying the aura of a saint king. Lin Xian's pupils constricted when he saw this scene. Qin Xiener and Guan Songhai couldn't escape at all. Their bodies were extremely cold. The attack of a saint king. Were they going to die? However, at this moment, Lin Xian took the two away. Then, a pagoda appeared. Clang! The great sage tower was shaking nonstop. Even though they were inside, Lin Xian and the others felt their blood boiling. Boom! He was actually forced to retreat. But fortunately, they blocked this attack and retreated into the distance. The surrounding Immortal Guardian clan members all laughed coldly. Humph! This brat is dead for sure. With the patriarch personally making a move, how could he possibly escape? However, when they saw that the 3 people in front of them were actually unharmed, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. How could this be? That was an attack from a Saint King. Lin Xian's face turned cold as well. How terrifying! The Saint King's giant palm was truly terrifying. Looks like there's going to be a tough battle coming up. A sharp light burst out from his eyes. Right now, he even dared to challenge a Saint King. No wonder you dared to be so arrogant in the void land. Between heaven and earth, an old voice rang out. Then, An old man walked out. He stood above the 9 heavens, his body carrying a terrifying law that covered the sky. It seemed like the immortal guardian clan was equally despicable and shameless. A saint king actually dared to make a move on the younger generation. Don't you think you've lost face? There's no need to talk about rules when dealing with people like you who have been abandoned by the immortals. The old man in the sky said in a cold voice. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Is that so? I'm the temple master and also a member of Wushuang City. If you kill me, you'll become an enemy of the temple and Wushuang City. Also, these 2 friends of mine are also the top geniuses of the 2 saint cities. Have you thought about how you're going to deal with the attacks from the saint cities? Lin Xian stood there, his voice resounding. So what if the Void Land was strong? As expected, the surrounding immortal guardian clan members all sucked in a breath of cold air, their faces changing. However, the immortal guardian clan leader sneered. Looks like you don't know us well enough. We don't care about a mere saint cities. Moreover, I won't kill your 2 friends. I only want to kill you. So, kneel down and accept your death. A cold killing intent appeared between heaven and earth. Lin Xian's face turned even colder. We won't leave. We'll advance and retreat with Lin Xian. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai said coldly. They were now firmly on Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian took a deep breath. It seemed like he could only fight with all his might. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, and a terrifying aura surged out. Lin Xian was going to use his trump card. In the sky, the immortal guardian clan leader sneered. It's useless. No matter what you use, it's useless in front of a true saint king. He raised his palm again, and it was about to land. A shocking battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, a sigh was heard. Stop! Who dared to meddle in their affairs at this moment? The immortal guardian clan member sneered, because from the voice, it sounded incomparably young. The immortal guardian clan leader snorted coldly. Who dares to meddle in my affairs? I said stop. At this moment, the void shattered, and a phantom appeared. It was a peerlessly beautiful woman, like a fairy, from the 9th heaven. The moment she appeared, she stared at the immortal guardian clan's leader. What? Can't you understand my words? Lin Xian is my friend. Try and lay your hands on him. This person was the woman from the buried Emperor's Star. Many immortal guardian clan members were shocked. Even if she was from the buried Emperor's Star, she shouldn't be so arrogant. However, the immortal guardian clan's leader's pupils shrank. He knew more information. The identity of the person in front of him wasn't ordinary. His expression became ugly. He didn't expect that the person who was abandoned by the immortal realm would be related to this person. Fairy Yen, he's abandoned by the immortal realm. Think carefully. The phantom that appeared was Yen Ruyu. She didn't say anything and just stared coldly at the other party. Seeing that Yen Ryu didn't reply, the immortal guardian clan's leader sighed. Okay, I know. This time, I won't attack him. Fairy Yen, I won't do anything in the Void Land, but if I meet him again in the future, I'll be fine. If I meet him in the future, don't blame me for being impolite. In the sky, Yen Ryu's figure slowly disappeared. As for the immortal guardian clan's leader, he stared at Lin Xian. Brat, you're lucky. This time, I'll spare you. You can leave. Who is this person? He's so young. He should be from the younger generation. However, he was able to influence the Sacred Venerate's decision. Guan Songhai and Qin Sienna were both stunned. What shocked them even more was that this person was friends with Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also shocked. It seemed that Yen Ryu's identity in the buried Emperor's Star wasn't ordinary. Otherwise, why would a Sacred Venerate be so afraid of her? The surrounding immortal guardian clan members also didn't understand. However, they didn't dare to disobey their leader's orders. Thus, they could only gnash their teeth and stare at Lin Xian and the other two. Lin Xian sneered. Immortal Guardian Clan, very good. I'll remember you. The next time we meet, I'll kill all of you, including you, the sacred monarch. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the sky. His eyes were emitting a biting cold aura. Chapter 4373. How dare you? The people of the Immortal Guardian Clan roared. The clan leader of the Immortal Guardian Clan snorted. He didn't care about such danger at all. To him, the other party was just an ignorant ant. How would he know how powerful a Sage King was? Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and led Guan Songhai and Qin Xiano outside. No one dared to stop them as they passed. Looking at the two disappearing figures, the elders of the Immortal Guardian Clan also came over. Clan leader, are you really going to let this kid leave just like that? Yeah, who is that woman? Why should she be afraid of him? There's no need to talk about this. I'll spare his life this time. However, he's an abandoned immortal. One day, we'll tear him into pieces. The clan leader of the Immortal Guardian Clan was also extremely unhappy. However, when he thought of Yen Ruyu's identity, he felt a tinge of fear in his heart. We're finally out. Qin Xiano heaved a sigh of relief. Guan Songhai's expression also eased a lot. This time, it was really too dangerous. Fortunately, they came out safely. When they thought of their gains inside, they clenched their fists. Outside, there were still a lot of people outside the void lands. They continued to wait. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Look, someone came out." They all looked over. Who is it? It's those three people. When they saw Lin Xian and the other two, they were also shocked. Previously, the three of them had fought their way in. Originally, they thought that these people would definitely die after entering. But now, it seemed that this wasn't the case. These people actually came out safely. How is this possible? Some of the older generation experts were shocked. The Immortal Guardian Clan didn't attack them? What happened? Or do these three people have some mysterious identity? Facing these people's gazes, Lin Xian and the other two didn't care. They rose into the air and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, a biting cold aura blocked their way. Who dares to attack us? Lin Xian frowned. Qin Xiano and Guan Songhai were also on guard. This aura carried a very strong power. In the next moment, they saw three figures descending from the sky. One of them was the blue-robed man who had fought with Lin Xian before. He stared coldly at Lin Xian. "Kid, you're finally out. People from the buried Emperor's Star. What? Wasn't the lesson I taught you last time not enough?" Lin Xian looked at the blue-robed man. The blue-robed man snorted coldly. "Don't be so arrogant. Last time, we were in the void, so I didn't dare to use my full strength. But now that you've come out, we don't have any scruples." This blue-robed man was called Xinglan. At this moment, he said coldly, "I will let you know the consequences of offending us." Lin Xian cast a disdainful glance at Lin Xian. "You, before we entered the canyon, you were already not my match. Do you think you can contend against me now? You're the one who bullied my junior brother." At this time, another figure beside Xinglan spoke up. His aura was stronger than Xinglan's. "This is my senior brother, Dao Pu. Kid, you're dead meat." Xinglan sneered. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed. "If you're such a piece of trash, I'm sure your senior brother isn't much either. Hurry up and scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." After the surrounding people heard this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. This kid actually dared to be so arrogant in front of the people from the buried Emperor's Star. He was too reckless. In front of them, Dao Po's lips curled into a cold smile. "Arrogant enough, but I want to see if you have the right to be arrogant. As his voice fell, he stepped forward. Then he pointed his finger. A saber light, with an indomitable aura, slashed directly at him. This saber strike was truly too terrifying. A scorching aura filled the air. Everywhere the saber light passed, the void shattered. That surge of power caused the expressions of the surrounding experts to change. "Be careful!" Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai cried out in alarm. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, I can handle it." He took a step forward and slapped out. Boom! The powerful force shattered heaven and earth. In an instant, the two of them clashed in the air. Suddenly, a terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Did he block it? When Dao Pa saw that Lin Xian dared to fight with him directly, a cold look appeared in his eyes. He sneered and waved his hand. A long saber appeared in his hand. He was a saber wielder and a peerless saber saint. On the long saber, there was a shocking light that pulsed like starlight. It swept towards Lin Xian. Boom, boom. The light was extremely terrifying. In the process of colliding with Lin Xian's fist, it split open and emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if it wanted to burn Lin Xian's fist. What a terrifying saber light. Behind them, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were shocked. The surrounding people also held their breaths. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The power of flames could burn everything, but it couldn't hurt his body. With a cold snort, he clenched his hand into a fist and unleashed the tiger demon fist, capable of total annihilation. A sound like a tiger's roar roared between heaven and earth. In heaven and earth, the phantom of a ferocious tiger appeared and charged towards the terrifying saber light. At the same time, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm and struck out with the man-ruler seal. As if it was the hand of a god from ancient times, it slapped forward. Dao Po's face was extremely ugly. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to block his saber light. Not only that Lin Xian could even launch a counterattack, he couldn't stand it. With a roar, an extremely powerful force surged out of his body. "I'll let you see what I got in the Eternal Canyon." After speaking, an extremely terrifying aura surged out of his body as if it was going to break through heaven and earth. "Take my saber." He roared and held the long saber with both hands and slashed down. "So powerful!" Countless people exclaimed. Qin Xianer and Lin Xianer's pupils shrank. They could naturally see how terrifying this saber was. It seemed that Lin Xian had also comprehended the invincible sword. Too powerful. What exactly did these people find in the Void Land? The surrounding people were extremely envious. In the face of such a shocking saber light, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "You want to compete with me? You're courting death. Then I'll let you see what I got." After speaking, he roared. A strand of sword chi condensed in his hand, which he gripped tightly before slashing forward as well. Invincible sword. At this moment, Lin Xian looked as though he was invincible. The sword aura pierced through heaven and earth and charged forward. Boom! The saber and sword collided and swept out in all directions. The two forces were competing. Everyone quickly retreated. Even Xinglan and Lin Xian retreated far away. Xinglan's face became extremely ferocious. To be honest, he originally thought that his senior brother would be able to kill Lin Xian easily. But now, it seemed that after so many moves, Lin Xian was still able to resist. Chapter 4374. This was especially true for his senior brother. After his senior brother unleashed his ultimate technique, his opponent was not at a disadvantage at all. In fact, the power of his opponent's sword chi was even stronger than his senior brother's. Boom, boom, boom. It was as if a great apocalypse had occurred in front of them. Then, The saber light was actually torn apart, splitting into two halves. Dao Po's pupils shrank. He instantly retreated, turning into countless saber lights that scattered in all directions. Only by running into the void crack did he manage to dodge the attack. In the next moment, he walked out. However, his expression was extremely ugly. Unparalleled sword. His expression was cold. He could naturally tell that the sword attack that Lin Xian had unleashed was very similar to the one in the everlasting battlefield. Brat, you're quite capable. However, I wonder if you'll be able to block my Buried Emperor Star's ultimate technique. Clearly, Dao Po was going to unleash the ultimate technique that he had learned from the Buried Emperor Star. Taking a step forward, he let out a furious roar, and a terrifying law swept out. The heavens collapsed, and the earth cracked. A saber light condensed in front of him, and he grabbed it. An extremely berserk aura was emitted from it, sweeping out in all directions. The might of the flames was also surging nonstop. 5-wind blazing saber. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying ultimate technique. Boom. When the saber slashed out, the terrifying saber light caused the surrounding people's expressions to change. No late-stage Holy Venerate could block this saber attack. It seemed that his senior brother was finally serious. In that case, this battle could finally end. In the distance, when Xinglan saw this scene, the corners of her mouth rose into a smile. Soon, this brat would know what despair was. Daring to fight against them was simply courting death. Was this the Buried Emperor Star's ultimate technique? Humph, Lin Xian sneered. He formed hand seals and slapped out the man-ruler seal once again. As he slammed his palm forward, the surrounding power of the heavens and the earth shattered continuously. Everyone's expressions changed. Even Xinglan and the others who were sneering in the distance narrowed their eyes. Boom. The wind and clouds changed between heaven and earth. It was as if a god had appeared. This aura caused countless people to cry out in alarm. How terrifying! What kind of divine ability was this guy using? Most likely, even ordinary holy cities wouldn't have such a divine ability. Where did this guy get it from? Yeah, why do I feel like it's even stronger than the martial arts I got from Burial Earthstar? The surrounding people cried out in alarm. In the distance, Xinglan's expression also turned ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "This was the man-ruler seal. This kid had actually learned so many martial arts in the everlasting battlefield. It was truly unbelievable. One had to know that they had also gone in, so they naturally saw it. The unique skills in battle also made them envious. However, with their cultivation bases and talents, it was impossible for them to master such a lost technique in a short period of time. Moreover, the terrifying pressure brought about by the battlefield prevented them from comprehending for a long time. Thus, not a single person was capable of unleashing such power. But now Lin Xian had done it. Dao Po's pupils constricted. Impossible. It was just a facade. I don't believe that he can beat the saber art that I've been practicing all this time. In the next moment, he roared angrily. He executed the saber technique in his hand to the extreme. Boom. Between heaven and earth, a huge saber light swept across. The surrounding people retreated once again. With such an aura, even a sacred sage would be turned into ashes instantly. In the face of such a terrifying, unique skill, Lin Xian attacked forcefully. The man-ruler seal was completely unleashed. Boom. Under the might of this palm strike, the entire world began to tremble nonstop. Under countless shocked gazes, the two unique skills finally collided fiercely again. It was as if 10,000 claps of thunder had sounded. An astonishing power spread out in all directions. At that moment, the surrounding ground broke open, and the sky tumbled. A surge of energy rushed up to the clouds and tore the void apart. This time, the crowd retreated even further. In fact, Even those in the void came out to watch the battle when they saw this scene. When they saw this scene, they were equally shocked. At that moment, amidst the light that filled the sky, a cold voice rang out. The unique skill of Burial Emperor Star was only SOSO. After that, the man-ruler seal descended from the sky and became even more terrifying. Roar! There seemed to be a dragon's roar in heaven and earth. Then, with a cracking sound, cracks appeared on the huge saber light once again. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people's pupils shrank fiercely. Impossible! Even Xinglan's heart was in her mouth. Could it be that her senior brother was going to lose? She couldn't believe it. At that moment, another voice rang out. Damn it, I won't lose. It was the voice of the Saber Soul. He roared angrily. The shattered saber light did not scatter. Instead, it gathered together again, and a blood-red light appeared on top of it. It was obvious that he was already using his secret skill, and even burning his blood. He was going to use his full strength to unleash a shocking saber attack. Sure enough, under such a crazy activation, the 5-wind blaze saber technique became even more terrifying. One saber light even turned into 5 saber lights. They enveloped the void. Useless brat, I'll let you see my strongest unique skill. Kill them all. Under such a violent attack, very few people below the Sacred Ruler realm could withstand it. Lin Xian took a deep breath and formed another seal with his palms. Then, a deep voice sounded. Mountain-embracing seal. Heaven and earth kept shattering. A huge mountain seemed to have crossed time and space and appeared above the 9 heavens. Then, it fell fiercely. Boom. The earth instantly split open, and those people in the distance were also sent flying by a burst of power. Many people vomited blood. They were terrified. What is this? Could it be that the mountain was an illusion? Why do I feel like it's a sacred mountain? Countless people were in a terrible state. Their faces were filled with fear. It was the mountain-embracing seal. Seeing this scene, Xinglan also exclaimed. The people of the Immortal Guardian clan naturally saw it too. Their eyelids twitched violently. Damn it, this brat's talent is too strong. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, the majestic godly mountain began to descend. It collided with the 5 sabers. Instantly, another wave of super-powerful energy swept out in all directions. However, this time, the 5 saber lights could not withstand it and were all shattered. Damn it, how is this possible? Dao Po's face turned ugly. What is this? He had never seen it before. However, he felt that this aura was very terrifying. It was as if it could suppress everything. When the 5 saber lights shattered, he vomited blood, and his face turned pale. In the next moment, he frantically retreated. However, he was still a step too late. His back was covered by the mountain, and he immediately vomited blood and was sent flying. His arms were first broken and turned into a bloody mist. Then, half of his body disappeared. Chapter 4375. Boom, boom, boom. Between heaven and earth, there was chaos. After a long time, the image of the sacred mountain slowly disappeared. In the next moment, everyone looked carefully. There was sacred blood floating between heaven and earth. It was abnormally terrifying. Was he injured? Everyone was shocked. Xinglan clenched his fists. He almost fainted from shock. He realized that his senior brother was injured. It was a serious injury. Half of his body was broken, and he looked extremely miserable. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were stunned once again. Between heaven and earth, there was silence. How was this possible? I actually lost. Dao Pa spat out blood. He couldn't believe that he was defeated by an ant in his eyes. As for Lin Xian, he walked over with a mocking look in his eyes. The buried Emperor Star's secret technique was only SOSO? Or was it that he was too trash and couldn't unleash the power of the secret technique? They had all seen the image of the battlefield. However, he realized that Lin Xian's secret technique seemed to be stronger than his. Could it be that Lin Xian's talent was above his? What a joke! As a genius from the buried Emperor's Star, he couldn't accept this. It was a slap in the face. It was a ruthless slap in the face. He, who had always been high and mighty, was now being stepped on. Dao Pe couldn't accept this. Qin Xianer sneered. I was wondering how powerful he was to dare to stop us. Now, it seemed that he was only SOSO. Guan Songhai snorted. With such a cultivation, he dared to challenge Brother Lin? He was courting death. Go back and cultivate for another 1,000 years. Ah, damn it. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to tear you into pieces. Dao Pe roared into the sky. Xinglan and another person also flew over. As they approached, their expressions were cold, and their bodies emitted a terrifying aura. Why? Do you want to attack together? Do you think I'm afraid of you? Guan Songhai snorted. A terrifying ocean appeared on his body. I haven't lost yet. At this moment, Dao Pe stood up again. His body had returned to normal, and his face was pale. However, his eyes were blood red. In the next moment, a force rushed out from his body and turned into a blood-red saber. He slashed out. After this slash, the laws of the 9 heavens and 10 earths burned. At the same time, half of the blood on Dao Pe's body was instantly burned clean. Blood Demon slashed with his mad blade. A ferocious voice resounded between heaven and earth. Xinglan and the other woman gasped in surprise. Were they going to use their trump card? Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai also frowned. Naturally, they could feel how terrifying this strike was. He had probably already surpassed the Holy Venerate realm. Lin Xian also laughed. Why? Do you want to risk your life? But do you have the qualifications to do so? Kid, you're dead for sure. The might of this saber strike already surpassed that of a holy venerate, unless one was a holy king. Otherwise, you can just die. As soon as he finished speaking, the blood-red long saber flew over at an unparalleled speed. In the blink of an eye, he arrived above Lin Xian and the other two and descended from the sky. The ground split open, and the surrounding void instantly turned into a black hole. This brat was finally going to die. Xinglan's lips curled into a sinister smile. Even though his senior brother was seriously injured this time around. So what? The fact that they were able to kill the other party showed that they were still powerful. The other party was still an ant. It was impossible for him to make a comeback. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan also laughed. They had wanted to make a move for a long time. However, they didn't have the chance before. Now that they could watch the other party die with their own eyes, they could finally vent their anger. As for Lin Xian, he snorted coldly. The great destruction spear flew out, and he held it in his hand. One strike. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. Boom, boom, boom. A black, demonic aura pierced through and collided with the blood-red, demonic saber. Suddenly, there was an earth-shattering explosion. In the next moment, the blood-red, demonic saber shattered again and turned into a sea of blood that spread in all directions. The sound was like thousands of thunderbolts. How was this possible? Xinglan was dumbfounded. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were also stunned. Dao Pe's pupils shrank as he stood there in shock. In the next moment, his body swayed and he was sent flying. He was directly pierced by a black spear. Dao Pe was completely dumbfounded. In that instant, he had used his most powerful trump card. It could kill any holy venerate. After all, he had used his blood and life as the price. Even so, he hadn't been able to hurt the other party. Instead, he had been pierced by the other party again. Damn it, why was this happening? The immense pain brought him back to reality. Feeling the terrifying aura in front of him, his face turned ugly. It was the aura of a Sage King. Damn it, this was the weapon of a Sage King. Lin Xian sneered. Do you think you're the only one with a trump card? In my opinion, you're the one who's an ant. He held the Great Destruction Spear and lifted the other party into the air. Blood continued to drip down. The ground below had turned into a huge rift valley. The surrounding people were all stunned. Xinglan roared, "Damn it, let go of my senior. How dare you hurt my senior? You're dead meat." The other person also roared. Dao also said, "Kid, do you think you'll have a good ending after hurting me? The people from the buried Emperor's Star will kill you." Lin Xian snorted. "How dare you threaten me at this point? Do you think I don't dare to kill you?" With a swing of the Great Destruction Spear, the other party's body was torn into pieces. The blood mist that filled the sky tried to escape with the soul, but Lin Xian used the Tai Chi diagram to slap it back. The Tai Chi diagram descended, forming a space that locked the other party. "Do you dare to kill me?" Dao roared crazily. Lin Xian said, "No, I won't. However, there's a situation that's worse than death. If your cultivation is gone, I want to see how you're going to be arrogant then." "What? You dare to cripple my cultivation?" Dao roared crazily. He was truly afraid. "I'm from the buried Emperor's Star. Do you know what the consequences are for touching me?" Lin Xian sneered. "It's too late to be afraid now. Even if I don't do anything to you, do you think you'll let me go? Since that's the case, I don't mind teaching you a lesson. I'll let you people from the buried Emperor's Star know that there are some people you can't afford to provoke." After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a dragon-shaped sword chi flew out, enveloping the other party's blood mist and soul. The power of the great dragon sword soul destroyed everything and completely destroyed the other party's cultivation. After the sword chi returned, Lin Xian retrieved the Tai Chi diagram. The blood mist that filled the sky once again condensed into Dao Po's appearance. At this moment, he was in an extremely sorry state. He roared crazily, "My cultivation, my power. Damn it, you actually crippled me." "What?" Xinglan was completely enraged. The two of them wanted to attack. In the distance, there were even people flickering. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan also walked out. Lin Xian said, "If anyone dares to come, I'll make them suffer a fate worse than Dao Po's." The Great Destruction Spear bloomed, and a terrifying power enveloped the world. Everyone stopped in their tracks. In the hands of such an expert, unless a true Sage King made a move, no one would be able to do anything to him. Lin Xian looked at Xinglan and said coldly, "Go back and tell the buried Emperor's Star that it was me who did it. If you're not happy, come and find me. If you dare to make a move on my friends or the people around me, I guarantee that you'll regret it." Chapter 4376. Let's go. After saying that, Lin Xian brought Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai into the sky and tore through the void. No one dared to stop them during the entire process. After Lin Xian left, these people heaved a sigh of relief. Then, they all cried out in surprise. Too powerful. This guy simply swept through everything. Yeah, I feel like he's like a god of war. He's a young, great emperor. Countless discussions rang out. As for the people in the buried Emperor's Star, their expressions were incomparably ugly. "Hurry up and bring me back. I won't let him off." Dao Pa also roared crazily. Xinglan also hurriedly brought Dao Pa and tore through the void to leave. Lin Xian returned to the Jade Lake to check on the situation of the Sage Kings. The Sage Kings had already left. Even the unparalleled Sage King wasn't there. This surprised Lin Xian. "What's going on?" The Jade Lake Sacred Master walked out and said, These people's injuries were more or less healed. It seemed like something urgent had happened. So, these people left. What's going on? Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't know. However, he received another piece of news. The Crimson Dragon and the others had also returned. They even came here to look for him. Are they back? Lin Xian was overjoyed. This way, he could bring these people to the buried Emperor's star. Lin Xian prepared to return to the Divine Palace. After returning, he ordered the Divine Palace's people to look for the Crimson Dragon and the others and ask them to return quickly. After all, it hadn't been long since they entered the buried Emperor's star. With the Divine Palace's powerful strength, they started to search and send out messages. Sure enough, they were finally summoned back. Damn, kid, what are you doing? Ben Huang is looking for treasures. Don't delay, Ben Huang. After the Crimson Dragon arrived, he started to make a big fuss. The toad also said, "Where's that kid? Hurry up and accompany me." After he arrived, he stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, you dared to bully me before. See how I'll take revenge now." Previously, he had entered several places with the Crimson Dragon, and his strength had greatly increased. Now, after coming here, he wanted to attack Lin Xian. The toad laughed at the sky. An extremely powerful voice flew out and covered the sky as if it was the voice of the heavens. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He slapped out with his man-ruler seal, tearing apart the law of sound. Then, he used the mountain-embracing seal to completely suppress the toad. In just 2 moves, the toad was beaten down. He cried out in surprise. Holy shit, what kind of divine ability was this? It was too powerful. The Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Kid, when did your strength become so strong? I don't think there are many holy venerables who are your match. Beyond that would be the strength of a Saint King. You can't be so heaven-defying that you can fight against a Saint King, right? These should be the lost 4 primordial seals, right? You actually know 2 of them. That's really surprising. Another laughter was heard. Then Black Mountain, who was wearing a black robe, floated over. The information on him was even more mysterious. Lin Xian was shocked. He grabbed the snow-white monkey and gave it some spirit fruits. At the same time, he said, "Why do I feel that you've become stronger? Aren't you a remnant soul? Can you cultivate too?" "Of course. Don't you know who I am?" Black Mountain said arrogantly. The North Demon also came. After seeing Lin Xian's strength, he was shocked. He thought that he could surpass you. He didn't expect that he would be defeated by you. The group of people gathered together and were very happy. Lin Xian asked the deity's palace to hunt some beasts, saint-level beasts, for dinner. Then they started to talk about their own experiences. When they heard that Lin Xian had participated in the Tao debate and obtained the qualifications to enter the buried Emperor's star, their eyes widened in envy. Black Mountain also said, "Good, it's finally going to open. It seems like it's time to enter the buried Emperor's star. Is your fellow going too? But how are you going to go?" Lin Xian was shocked. Black Mountain smiled mysteriously. "You don't have to worry about that. I have my ways. However, I think it won't be easy for you to enter the buried Emperor's star." "What do you mean?" Lin Xian was puzzled. Black Mountain said, "Since the human world has come out, they won't let it go. In the final period, they will attack crazily. So, you have to be careful. Moreover, the buried Emperor's star is much more terrifying than you think. It's not certain whether it's a blessing or a curse." "What do you mean by that?" Toad, Rainbow Dragon, and the others asked. However, Black Mountain shook his head and said, "It's nothing. There are some things that I can't tell you in advance. Otherwise, it will lose the meaning of entering the buried Emperor's star. You have to rely on yourselves. However, is it about the human world? I can help you. After all, I don't like those guys. It seems like there will be a battle. That's good too. Why don't we use our last chance to have a decisive battle with the human world?" There's no need for us. I think the deity Dao Union is already planning. Black Mountain said. At this moment, Peacock walked over and said, Palace Master, someone is requesting an audience. She says that she's Qin Xianer and wants to see you. She's here? Let her in. Lin Xian was shocked. They had just separated not long ago. Why was Qin Xianer back? Soon, a beam of light tore through the void and arrived nearby. Lin Xian, you have to help me, Qin Xianer cried. Lin Xian was shocked. What's going on? Qin Xianer said that my master is in danger. Sacred ruler Biyue is in danger? Lin Xian was stunned. Did the people of the human world make a move? Qin Xianer shook her head. What's going on? Tell me the details. Next, Qin Xianer said some things. After Lin Xian heard it, he was also shocked. It turned out that it was about the second astral realm. The Joyous Union Palace had always been under the control of sacred ruler Biyue. However, she had an enemy, her junior sister, Ziyu. At the same time, she was also a terrifying figure. She had been stuck in the half-step sacred ruler realm. She was only one step away from becoming a true sacred ruler. But for hundreds of thousands of years, she hadn't succeeded in breaking through. Everything had been peaceful. Although there was some conflict, sacred ruler Biyue wasn't worried. But now, sacred ruler Biyue had brought a genius to the true spirit world and had been injured. On the other side, her junior sister, Ziyu, had broken through and become a sacred ruler. She had taken control of the sacred city and even wanted to kill sacred ruler Biyue. Sacred ruler Biyue didn't know about this. After returning to the sacred city, she was suddenly attacked. Plus, she had been cursed and supreme Saint Corpse poison. Although she had recovered, her strength wasn't at its peak. She was actually trapped for a while. Her life was probably in danger. Lin Xian frowned. He suddenly remembered Yu Shijie. Back then, her strength had increased by leaps and bounds. She had caught the eye of an important figure in the Joyous Union Palace and been taken away. Now it seemed that it was this half-step sacred ruler. Chapter 4377. This was originally a matter of Hehuan Palace, so ordinary people couldn't interfere. However, Lin Xian and Qin Xianer's relationship wasn't ordinary. In addition, Liyue Saint King was on their side. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to help. Therefore, he said, "Don't worry, I'll help you investigate the situation." Then he closed his eyes and formed a seal with his hands. He planted an imprint in Yu Shijie's soul so he could contact her. As expected, he received a response not long after. It was from Yu Shijie. After hearing this, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. His expression was extremely serious. "What's wrong?" the dark rainbow dragon and the others asked. Lin Xian said, "The situation isn't good. I'm afraid this isn't just a matter of Hehuan Palace." Then what was it? Qin Xianer's face was also pale. She had no idea what was happening in the second astral realm. However, Lin Xian said, "According to the situation I received, that half-step Saint King's sudden breakthrough didn't seem to be a coincidence. Someone is secretly helping him." It was said that, before the breakthrough, Acheron Palace's Silver Corpse Saint King had gone there and stayed. He only left after the breakthrough. Could it be that he was the one who helped him? The toad was also shocked. He Shan's eyes flashed. He said, "Based on what you said, Silver Corpse Saint King has connections with the human world." It seemed that the human world was secretly helping him. It seemed that they wanted to use this method to obtain another saint city and increase their strength. "That's right." Lin Xian nodded. Then he said, "We can't let the human world succeed. We have to help Liyue Saint King. I'll go to Jade Lake Sacred Ground and tell the Jade Lake's sacred leader to contact the other Saint Kings and quickly return to the second astral realm. Otherwise, if they had to use this method, only his saint city would be in danger. Then Lin Xian started to act. Soon, he returned from Jade Lake's sacred ground and returned to the temple. Let's go. We have to hurry to the second astral realm. He didn't bring too many people. After all, it was going to be a great battle between Saint Kings. Numbers didn't have much of an advantage. Lin Xian, He Shan, and the others moved quickly. They took super teleportation. At the same time, the Jade Lake sacred leaders started to contact the other Saint Kings. Second astral realm. At this moment, the second astral realm was also extremely shocked. That was because they discovered that something shocking had happened. Previously, Wushuang City had disappeared, and then Acheron Hall had suffered heavy losses. All of these things were shocking. Now, these sacred cities had changed again. This news came from the Joyous Union Palace. It was said that the Joyous Union Palace had a new holy master. The original Closed Moon Saint King was replaced by the Purple Moon Saint King, who once again commanded the world. This shocked everyone. What was going on? Had the original Saint King fallen? For a moment, everyone was discussing animatedly. The people in the Joyous Union Palace were even more shocked. A few people resisted, not willing to do so at all. In the end, they were forcefully suppressed. A great battle broke out. Many people fled, but even more people were trapped. Submit or be killed. It could be said that the situation was extremely critical. A figure in a purple robe stood in the hall. She wore a crown on her head, and her eyes were filled with boundless sharpness. She was the Purple Moon Saint King. At this moment, there were many people standing in front of him. Some of them were originally his subordinates. Some of them had sought refuge with him. And now they were all listening to his orders. Yu Shijie was also standing among them. The Purple Moon Saint King asked, "Is there still no news of the Closed Moon Saint King?" Reporting to the Sacred King, "There is no news yet. We don't know where he is hiding. He was previously poisoned and has not fully recovered. Before he came, he was ambushed by us. Where can he run to when he is severely injured? Seal all the subordinate worlds. I want him to have nowhere to run." The Purple Moon Saint King was in a good mood because she felt that her senior sister was not a threat to her at all. She had waited for this day for too long. "All right, all of you can leave now. Continue to search for news. Once you find him, inform me immediately. Second, quickly make those people submit. If they do not submit, kill them directly. Destroy their souls." Soon, these people went out to carry out their tasks. Only the Purple Moon Saint King was left in the hall. At this moment, the void behind her cracked open. A figure walked out and said coldly, "I have already done it for you. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise?" The Purple Moon Saint King stopped smiling. She said, "What's the hurry? It's not over yet. I want to see my good senior sister's soul destroyed with my own eyes." The cold voice reverberated in the hall. At the same time, in the second astral realm, a huge spatial whirlpool appeared. Then, a few figures appeared. It was Lin Xian and the rest. They are finally back. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Qin Xianer was extremely anxious. She said, "I don't know how it is." Lin Xian said, "I'll know after asking around." Soon he heard the news. In the end, he found out that the astral realm where the Joyous Union Palace was located and the surrounding subordinate worlds were all sealed. What happened inside could not be spread out. Qin Xianer's face turned ugly. Not good. It seems that she has completely controlled the entire sacred city. Even those worlds have to listen to her orders. If this goes on, I'm afraid all of us will be destroyed. Let's take a look around and wait for the right time. I've already informed the Sacred Kings. I think those Sacred Kings will definitely do something about it. They flew forward and soon arrived at the joyous Union Palace. There was indeed a peerless array in front of them. A terrifying aura filled the entire starry sky, making it impossible for people to get close. What a terrifying power! The Crimson Dragon and the rest exclaimed. He Shan's eyes flickered, and a smile appeared on his face. I have a way to get in. Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. Qin Xianer was overjoyed. Is that true? Senior, please help me. He Shan said, I can help, but I have some requests. If everything is peaceful in the joyous Union Palace, I have no objections. But if your joyous Union Palace really starts fighting and the world is destroyed, I may help and borrow something. Borrow something? Qin Xianer was stunned. She did not understand what he was saying. She was extremely anxious now. She said, Senior, please help. If you succeed, my joyous Union Palace will be extremely grateful. Whatever Senior needs, my joyous Union Palace, and I will give it to you. Very good. He Shan nodded. Lin Xian frowned. What are you planning? He Shan smiled mysteriously. All right, kid. You are also an array expert. Come and help me with that dragon. I want to open the array. Let's go in. Next, He Shan, Lin Xian, and the Crimson Dragon took action. The three of them were array experts. In addition, He Shan was a remnant soul of a supreme saint. Lin Xian had a sacred king weapon. Hence, they tore open a corner of the array. Then he walked in without making a sound. After entering, Lin Xian frowned. There was an extremely strong blood aura inside. The sky was red. It was obvious that there was a great battle earlier. Qin Xianer's face was pale, and she almost fainted. There was no need to think. It was unknown how many geniuses had fallen. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.